Chapter 1680. Qin Wentian had an extremely deep connection with the Heavenly Talisman realm. Ever since his senior brother Bai Wuya introduced him to the Heavenly Talisman realm, he became a disciple of the Heavenly Talisman realm, taking the Realm Lord as his master. He had a sense of belonging to the Heavenly Talisman realm and was also filled with respect for many of his senior brothers and sisters. For example, Bai Wuya, Jun Mengchen's senior brother, the Saber Lord of Death, as well as Tuoba Saint Sky and the others who fought side by side with him back then. The Heavenly Talisman realm has always treated him as a core member and nurtured him. He could sense this point very clearly. It was only until more than half of the peak powers in the immortal realms wanted him dead that everything ended. Other than Jun Mengchen and Bai Wuya, the Heavenly Talisman realm didn't appear at all. He understood that at that time, the Heavenly Talisman realm must have felt that the time wasn't ripe yet. In order to deal with him, the immortal realms had already formed a terrifying alliance. There were also many powers that didn't participate, but they were all eyeing him covetously. If the Heavenly Talisman realm appeared, they would definitely encounter strong resistance. And it was precisely after his death that the Azure Mystic Immortal realms welcomed chaos. The Heavenly Talisman realm's opportunity finally arrived. They borrowed the power of the immortal Qianbian Gate to enter the world, ruling over Azure Mystic. The ambitions of the Heavenly Talisman Realm Lord could be seen with a single glance. Everything he did in the past was merely a foundation. His ultimate goal was to unify Azure Mystic and become the hegemon of Azure Mystic. There were countless disciples in the Heavenly Talisman realm and they were born into chaos. Since the Heavenly Talisman realm had such lofty ambitions, there must be many heroes who responded to the Heavenly Talisman realm's words. Most probably, many people were suppressing their anger. Who would be willing to remain nameless? But why did Jun Mengchen betray the Heavenly Talisman realm? For traitors, how would the Heavenly Talisman realm deal with them? His gaze was filled with nervousness as he stared at Chongqing the Great. To him, Jun Mengchen had always been like a brother. Jun Mengchen came to the Emperor Palace before and right now, his name is already famous in the immortal realms. His cultivation base is the same as Qin, and his combat prowess is extremely strong. The immortal Qianbian Gate seems to have a powerful power behind them and Jun Mengchen is one of their disciples. Back then when you were surrounded by the immortal realms, that power didn't help you and Jun Mengchen was filled with resentment towards this. Most probably, he went to beg that power behind them to help but to no avail. Other than this, the immortal Qianbian Gate severed all ties with us when our Evergreen Kingdom was in danger. They said that if the Evergreen Kingdom is willing to submit, they would send troops to deal with the other powers. Chongqing the Great spoke. Jun Mengchen was extremely unhappy about this and had a falling out with the immortal Qianbian Gate. Because of this, he was hunted down and now, his whereabouts are unknown. According to my inference, if it wasn't for the fact that the immortal Qianbian Gate hoped that our Evergreen Kingdom would clash with the other powers, they wouldn't have allowed us to stay in the eastern regions. Qin Wentian felt extremely complicated in his heart when he heard Chongqing the Great's words. After leaving for so many years, the Blue Sea turned into mulberry fields. Things remain the same, but the people have changed. What about the Emperor Qianbian and Bai Wuya? Qin Wentian was more concerned about them. Right now, the immortal Qianbian Gate is still controlled by the Emperor Qianbian in name but he no longer has any authority. I'm also not sure about Bai Wuya's current situation. Chongqing the Great shook his head. After that battle, Little Rascal and Purgatory have never returned. However, I heard some news that Little Rascal would frequently roam the desolate mountains and devour the Foarok race, Void Beast race, White Tiger people and many other demonic races. The Foarok Jia Yima has long issued a must-kill order for him. The King of the Sun Gold race and the White Tiger people also want his life. Qin added from the side. To sum it up with a single sentence, Little Rascal had stirred up trouble and it was a great disaster. Most probably, it was because of Little Rascal's death. Do you have any news from the myriad Devil Islands? Is there any news from the priestess of the Judiciary Devil Hall? Also, Qi Yu and the others who followed me back then, how are they doing? Qin Wentian continued asking. Qi Yu and the others should be silently cultivating and have never participated in the chaotic war. As for the priestess of the Judiciary Devil Hall, she is now known as the Blood Empress, the Grand Priestess of Blood. Qin spoke. Back then, given her personality, she didn't care about external affairs. But now, she actually knew many things regarding the immortal realms. During these years, she had changed greatly because there were many things that she had to bear. Blood Empress, Grand Priestess of Blood. Qin Wentian's heart trembled. That last by Qing, what did she experience exactly? How's the situation in the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms? Qin Wentian asked again. Many Empyrean geniuses have appeared there, all of them are strong enough to stand on their own. The geniuses of the same generation as you back then, as well as those supreme characters from the city of ancient emperors, have all started to rise up. In the immortal realms, many major powers have been destroyed, vanishing like smoke, becoming history. The various peak powers of the northern regions are in an extremely intense battle against the demon race. They are the neighboring regions of the Desolate Mountains and would often suffer attacks from the greater demons of the Desolate Mountains, causing them to be on the verge of collapse. Chongqing the Great spoke. The central regions of the immortal realms are the most chaotic and the most complicated. Many powers have been directly swallowed up, it's the same for the demon race as well. The weaker demons submitted to the stronger demons and only a few of them remain in the western regions. You should understand the situation in the southern regions a little better. The Jiang clan is extremely mysterious and right now, everyone can feel how deep their foundations are. They have many secret arts and techniques. You have also seen what happened in the eastern regions. Other than this, there are also some wandering powers that have formed alliances. For example, Zidi and the Dongxing Heaven Emperor. Both of them actually submitted to Old Devil Duo Tian, causing Old Devil Duo Tian's power to grow even stronger. My injuries were caused by them and I almost died in their hands. Also, this time around, if you didn't return, the Evergreen Kingdom would have been destroyed today, completely vanishing from the pages of history. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with coldness. Chongqing the Great could use a single word to describe the current situation in the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms. Chaos. The entire Immortal Realms were in a state of chaos. In addition to the arrival of so many Empyreans from the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms, things would only get more chaotic. The hegemon of the eastern regions was actually the immortal Qianbian Gate controlled by the Heavenly Talisman Realm. They chatted about many things. In the air, a bright light flashed as more experts finally arrived. These people were all immortal emperors and were all people from the 9 Emperors' immortal state. The 9 Emperors' immortal state was a peak power in the central regions and was extremely terrifying. They had many immortal emperors and this time around, there was no need for all of them to move out to annihilate the Evergreen Kingdom. But now, they had no choice but to come. Qin Wentian even saw an old acquaintance, Huang Shatian. Right now, he was naturally also an immortal emperor. Huang Shaishan's talent was extremely high and he had comprehended a Tao element. How could he be inferior to others? He, who was at the mid-stage of the immortal emperor realm, naturally had an extraordinary aura. When they saw the many immortal emperors surrounding the 9 Emperors' immortal emperor, they couldn't help but to frown. After that, when they saw Chongqing the Great, G.D. and the Southern Phoenix Matriarch, their expressions all turned extremely unsightly. Even if they rushed here to provide reinforcements, it was still insufficient. As for the experts from the Supreme Sword School of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom and the Taihua Immortal Dynasty, they already had no reinforcements. Huang Shatian also saw Qin Wentian. His expression instantly became extremely fascinating as he stared over there. The words of the 9 Emperors' immortal emperor were actually true. Qin Wentian didn't die and he even brought an army of immortal emperors back with him. Where are the people from the Sanluo Immortal Empire? The 9 Emperors Immortal Emperor coldly spoke. Their 9 Emperors Immortal Empire had formed an alliance with the Sanluo Immortal Empire. They didn't come. The expression of the person in the lead was extremely unsightly, as though he could sense the danger here. When comparing the strength of both sides, they were still very weak. This was extremely disadvantageous to them. Qin Wentian turned his gaze over. After that, he slowly walked over. The Southern Phoenix Matriarch and Chongqing the Great followed behind him. Qin and Qingqing were beside him, while GD and her sect members followed behind. This group of people actually had Qin Wentian as their leader. After waiting for so long, only the people from the 9 Emperors Immortal State came to die. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. Since the 9 Emperors Immortal Emperor was here, the experts from the 9 Emperors Immortal State had no choice but to come. Qin Wentian, if we start a war, there would be no benefits for both sides. The 9 Emperors Immortal Emperor coldly spoke. There were also many Immortal Emperors on their side. Kill them all without mercy. Qin Wentian coldly spoke, he couldn't be bothered to waste words with them. In an instant, his subordinates all radiated Emperor light as they started their slaughter. Qin Wentian stepped out, traversing through space and directly appeared before the 9 Emperors Immortal Emperor. With a single glance, the 9 Emperors Immortal Emperor only felt the universe changing as he fell into a law domain. The divine weapon behind him radiated a brilliant light. However, he only saw Qin Wentian walking towards him step by step. If it wasn't for the sake of attracting others to take the bait, there wouldn't be a need to go through so much trouble. The Ying clan was destroyed not long ago. Right now, the 9 Emperors Immortal State is no longer a part of the Immortal Realms. The Ying clan was destroyed. The 9 Emperors Immortal Emperor's heart pounded violently. Qin Wentian only left for such a short period of time. The Ying clan was already destroyed. What cultivation realm are you at now? Within his true illusion domain, the 9 Emperors Immortal Emperor stared at Qin Wentian. Above the Immortal Emperor realm. Qin Wentian spoke. With a single glance, the sword might from the 9 Emperors Immortal Emperor flowed in reverse, directly piercing into his eyes. The light from the divine weapon also reversed and shot towards the 9 Emperors Immortal Emperor. The 9 Emperors Immortal Emperor screamed in agony, both his eyes were blinded as his entire body trembled in fear. Above the Immortal Emperor realm, was the Ancient Emperor realm. Today, the Ying clan was destroyed. The 9 Emperors Immortal State was no longer a part of the Immortal Realms. Back then when the major powers of the Evergreen Kingdom fought against them, the supreme geniuses they killed had returned. Would that battle directly lead to the destruction of the 9 Emperors Immortal State? With Qin Wentian acting, there was no suspense at all. Even though Qin Wentian suppressed his cultivation base, causing others to misunderstand that he was only a peak-stage Immortal Emperor, he was still as domineering as ever. Very swiftly, Immortal Emperors fell one after another. The Sky Mist Immortal Emperor, the Paragon Sword Emperor and the Taihua Immortal Lord were all terrified. They started to flee, but how could they escape? Qin Wentian's return was destined to cleanse Azure Mystic with blood. Very swiftly, corpses fell into the ruins of the Evergreen Kingdom Palace. Who would have thought that these were all characters who once shook the heavens and earth? Huang Shatian had also died. This genius who once contended against Qin Wentian, didn't even have the chance to exchange blows with Qin Wentian before he was killed by a monarch. The success of a general was built on the bones of tens of thousands. The rise of a supreme character, he would have to trample on the corpses of many geniuses to advance. Naturally, there were also those transcendent-level experts of the older generations. The destruction of the Ying clan, the destruction of the 9 Emperors Immortal State. This was merely the beginning. From the start till the end, Chongqing the Great didn't act. But when he saw the scene before him, he understood that with the return of Qin Wentian, a storm of blood would surely arise. Chapter 1681. In the Wenxin Temple, many monks didn't care about external affairs. In a hall in the Wenxin Temple, an esteemed monk sat cross-legged. A monk below him asked, "Abbot, back then Qin Wentian was clearly killed. Why did he return now? Could it be that he has reincarnated? Even if he has reincarnated, it shouldn't be so fast, right? That supreme young genius has returned. He used iron-blooded methods to announce his return, the return of a king. He made Eastern Sage Zidi and the other peak-stage immortal emperors commit suicide. He also made those who participated in the war back then take the initiative to be executed. When the Ying clan attacked the Namhuang clan, they were completely annihilated. The 9 emperors immortal state, the Sky Mist immortal emperor, the Paragon Sword emperor, the Taihua immortal lord and the others joined forces to annihilate the Evergreen Kingdom. Such shocking news naturally couldn't be hidden. Very swiftly, this news circulated to all the peak powers in the immortal realms. In a mysterious mountain range in the immortal realms, a black mist permeated the air. In the depths of this mountain range, there were many black-colored ancient palaces. At this moment, a few figures flew through the air, directly appearing in the middle of the palaces. "Master, have you heard the news about the Evergreen Kingdom and the Namhuang clan?" That disciple asked. The expert on the throne was extremely terrifying. His eyes swept over everyone, causing the crowd to feel trepidation. Even immortal emperors didn't dare to lift their heads. And at this moment, in the Senluo Great Hall of the Senluo Immortal Empire, the situation was completely different. The Senluo Immortal Emperor was as imposing as ever, but right now, he was standing beside the throne. The throne wasn't empty, it was occupied by someone else. The people below all knelt on the ground and bowed. "We respectfully welcome the arrival of the esteemed envoy." In the entire Azure Mystic Immortal Realms, there was only a single focal point. That focal point was none other than Qin Wentian. Presumptuous. Qin Wentian was killed more than 100 years ago. Did he just come back from the underworld? Zidi said coldly. Qin Wentian returned in a domineering manner, helping the Namhuang clan to destroy the Ying clan. He also helped the Evergreen Kingdom to destroy the 9 emperors immortal state and the Sky Mist immortal emperor. He brought back an army of immortal emperors. Who could stop him from taking revenge? That's impossible. Back then, all the experts were there, and he was killed until his soul was scattered. There's no way he could still be alive. Dongsheng Heaven Emperor was still in disbelief, but he understood that the person in front of him would not dare to lie to them, much less old devil Duo Tian. Right now, in the great hall of the Jiang clan, a group of immortal emperors stood there. The Jiang clan leader glanced at them and asked, "What do you all think?" "And what?" "Speak." Old devil Duo Tian said. "During these years, Emperor, you had always been pestering them. Eastern Sage had died a few times in his hands and that old fellow even chased them all the way to their lair, killing many of their people. He came and went without a trace, truly a great calamity. Qin Wentian has returned." The black-robed man bowed. The Reverend still had his eyes closed, as though he wasn't shocked at all. He only calmly spoke, "Benefactor Qin is destined to be fated with the Buddha. As long as the fate between them hasn't ended, he naturally wouldn't die. Back then, I've already said this. Today's karma will reap retribution in the future. Qin Wentian didn't die and has indeed returned. He even brought back an army of immortal emperors and helped the Namhuang clan to destroy the Ying clan, as well as the 9 emperors immortal emperor and the others. Also." The black-robed man stared at the 3 of them, wanting to say something but hesitating. "It's good that Qin Wentian is still alive. Let them fight until the heavens and earth turn upside down. In any case, my Jiang clan won't participate." Jiang Zihua smiled, his deep gaze seemed to be able to see through everything. "What?" A terrifying aura gushed forth from old devil Duo Tian. The eyes of Zidane Eastern Sage gleamed with terror as they stared at that person. In the sacred hall of the Sacred Sun sect, many experts were bowing to the sect leader. However, the sect leader's expression was extremely unsightly right now. Back then, their Sacred Sun sect had a part in killing Qin Wentian. Right now, Qin Wentian was actually still alive. This definitely wasn't good news. What's even more terrifying was that right now, not only was Qin Wentian incomparably powerful, he even brought back an army of immortal emperors. What's the matter? Why are you so flustered? Old Devil Duo Tian asked. No matter how strong he is still an immortal emperor. Immortal emperors are like ants before this seat. Send someone to pass a message to him, tell him to scram back to our Sanluo immortal empire and submit to us. That envoy calmly spoke, as though he was speaking of an extremely ordinary matter. What's going on? Old Devil Duo Tian was as expected of a peak character. He instantly calmed down and asked. Before this, I was worried that Master had something important to do outside and didn't dare to disturb you. Now that Master has returned, this disciple immediately rushed over. There's an important piece of news I have to report to Master. The Yin clan and the 9 Emperors Immortal State have all been destroyed. The Sky Mist Immortal Emperor, Paragon Sword Emperor and Taihua Immortal Lord have all been killed. The black-robed expert spoke. Elder brother is right. The Jiang clan only needs to wait for the last time to unify Azure Mystic. It would be best if they can incite a conflict between Qin Wentian and the immortal Qinbian Gate. Jiang Ziyu also spoke. Right now, he was also an initial stage immortal emperor. Envoy, that man's combat prowess is extremely strong. Back then when he was still an immortal king, he had already killed immortal emperors. Someone below spoke. Emichim, let's wait and see. The Jiang clan expert nodded. Say that again. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor radiated coldness. Are you talking about Qin Wentian? Countless people found it hard to sleep. Their hearts were filled with fear and trepidation. At this moment, a black-robed figure sped over. When he saw Old Devil Duo Tian and the others, he bowed, Master, Senior Zidi, Senior Eastern Sage. How did the Namhuang clan and the Evergreen Kingdom accomplish this? After that, the news circulated out. Back then, half of the peak powers of the immortal realms participated in the operation against the Evergreen Kingdom. Qin Wentian actually didn't die and returned alive. He brought an army of immortal emperors with him and even broke through to the peak stage of the immortal emperor realm. His combat prowess was so strong that even the 9 Emperors immortal emperor was killed by him. Keep an eye on the movements of the Evergreen Kingdom and the Namhuang clan. In addition, contact the other peak powers and discuss countermeasures. The sect leader of the sacred sect personally gave the order, wanting to unite the peak powers of the past. From this, one could see how important this matter was. He had no choice but to do so because the Yin clan was wiped out. The immortal emperors of the 9 Emperors Immortal State were all killed and the empire was disintegrated. Pardon your innocence. Old Devil Duo Tian's imposingness was extremely imposing. The disciple trembled with fear as he spoke. In addition, Qin Wentian insulted Zidi in Senior Eastern Sage. He even said that the deaths of Senior Eastern Sage's son, Dongxing Ting and Senior Zidi's nephew were all plotted by him and sent the 2 seniors to their deaths. He even told Master to go to the Evergreen Kingdom and cripple your own cultivation base. It was precisely because of Qin Wentian's return that the Yin clan was wiped out. All the immortal emperors of the 9 Emperors Immortal State and above died. The Tenlan Heaven Kingdom, the Supreme Sword School and the Taihua Immortal Dynasty were completely annihilated because their leaders were all killed by Qin Wentian. Disciple doesn't dare. The black-robed expert lowered his head. In the immortal realms, countless people were trembling with trepidation. Qin Wentian has returned, transforming into a killing god. He is here for revenge. After that, the Evergreen Kingdom and the Namhuang clan took the initiative to release news that those who participated in the encirclement of the Evergreen Kingdom all took the initiative to head to the Evergreen Kingdom to commit suicide. In that case, he wouldn't implicate their clans. In the Foarok race, the clan leader, Jia Yama, was enraged when he received this news. That heaven-devouring beast was still alive, and there was also news of Qin Wentian returning alive. In that case, he would let Qin Wentian die once more. Jia Yama immediately sought out the Sun Gold race, Heavenhold race, Void Beast race and the White Tiger people. These demonic races were all supreme demonic powers. If they joined forces, their strength would simply be terrifying. Chongqing the Great didn't know that he hadn't truly seen Qin Wentian's true strength. He had already held back when he killed the 9 emperors, Immortal Emperor and the others. If he was too strong, some of them would probably choose to hole up and hide. The Southern Phoenix Matriarch and the others knew Qin Wentian's intentions. They didn't say anything. Back then, when the Evergreen Kingdom was besieged, there were simply too many people who participated in killing Qin Wentian. This was merely the tip of the iceberg. Initially, we wanted to join forces to destroy the Evergreen Kingdom, but we were obstructed by that old fox Emperor Yu. During these few days, we have been chasing after him. Why? Are the 9 emperors Immortal State and the Yin clan unable to destroy the Evergreen Kingdom and the Namhuang clan? Old Devil Duo Tian asked. There were still some young men below the age of 200 who didn't know who Qin Wentian was. Their elders started to tell them about a legend that happened in the past. For a period of time, countless young men were filled with yearning, treating Qin Wentian as their spiritual idol. With Qin Wentian as their goal, they would definitely rise up in this chaotic world, daring to change the sky. Preposterous. That old fox is truly cunning, we actually failed to kill him. Ziti spoke in a cold voice. This time around, he, Old Devil Duo Tian and Eastern Sage, the 3 peak stage Immortal Emperors, joined forces to deal with a single person. Yet, they actually failed. Although they managed to heavily injure the other party still managed to escape. There was also a rumor that the deaths of Dongxing Heaven Emperor's son Dongxing Ting and nephew of Ziti were all planned by him, Qin Wentian. He wanted Eastern Sage and Ziti, these 2 old dogs, to go to the Evergreen Kingdom on their own accord to die. Old Devil Duo Tian dared to act as Eastern Sage's backer, protecting him. He had once acted against Qin Wentian on the Demon God Mountain, but now, he obediently crawled over to the Evergreen Kingdom and crippled his cultivation base. If that was the case, he, Qin Wentian, would spare Old Devil Duo Tian's dog life. Nobody doubted the veracity of this news. Qin Wentian's return was something that couldn't be hidden. Most probably, he had a miraculous encounter and managed to survive. He might have gone to the other immortal realms, returning as a king. Naturally, when he was at the Immortal King realm, he could slay immortal emperors. Now that Qin Wentian was at the peak stage of the Immortal Emperor realm, who in the immortal realms would be able to block him? And the person they ambushed was none other than their old enemy, Emperor Yu. After developing for so many years, the Azure Mystics and Luo Immortal Empire only has this level of strength. This truly disappoints this seat. I heard that right now, just a group of immortal emperors can already cause you all to tremble in fear. With this level of strength, how can you dominate Azure Mystic? That envoy spoke, his tone was filled with arrogance. However, no one dared to refute him. The black-robed young man felt the pressure from the 3 experts and didn't dare to continue speaking. Old Devil Duo Tian turned his head and glanced at Ziti and Eastern Sage. The brat you guys want to kill is truly tenacious. Back then, half of the immortal realms surrounded him, yet he didn't die. It was unknown how many people in the Azure Mystic Immortal realms were unable to eat or sleep in peace. For the Jiang clan, they knew the news the earliest because they, the Yin clan and the Namhuang clan were all in the southern region. With regards to the battle between the Yin clan and the Namhuang clan, how could they not pay attention to it? Hence, when the Ying clan was destroyed, the Jiang clan already felt that something was strange and started to investigate. They used their fastest speed to obtain news of Qin Wentian's return. Chapter 1682. Evergreen Kingdom Palace was being rebuilt. Qin Wentian did not take the initiative to attack. Instead, he stayed in the Evergreen Kingdom. Right now, he has already sent word to the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms. Everyone knew that he has returned. Most probably, the major powers of the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms were all in close contact with each other. Once there was any commotion, everyone would instantly know about it. He was waiting for the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms to surround him. Just like that time back then, all the major powers gathered in the Evergreen Kingdom Palace to kill him. Qin Wentian was not anxious at all. When he came to Qing Xian, he would settle all the old scores. At the same time, he also sent out people to investigate the whereabouts of Jun Mengchen and Little Rascal. However, at this moment, the Senluo Immortal Empire sent out a piece of news, telling Qin Wentian to scram to the Senluo Immortal Empire and submit. This caused Qin Wentian to feel bewildered. Had the Senluo Immortal Empire gone mad? The Ying clan was destroyed, the Nine Emperors' immortal state was destroyed, and the Senluo Immortal Empire actually dared to tell him to scram and pay his respects. Or could it be that the Senluo Immortal Empire was extremely confident? Could it be that the Senluo Immortal Empire also originated from the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms? Qin Wentian knew that there were experts from the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms who came to Azure Mystic together with him. There was also news that before him, there were experts from the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms who came here. Right now, they were roaming the Immortal Realms, but they didn't cause any commotion or attract attention. However, Qin Wentian guessed that these Empyreans most probably wouldn't be willing to stay out of the limelight. They would surely cause a huge commotion when they came to Azure Mystic. The experts of the Immortal Realms were all paying close attention to this. The Senluo Immortal Emperor told Qin Wentian to scram and submit to him. What would Qin Wentian do? Qin Wentian only sent out a single sentence. The Senluo Immortal Empire shall be destroyed and its name shall be removed from the Immortal Realms. Everyone's hearts trembled. Each was more arrogant than the last. Today, a few guests came to the Evergreen Kingdom. They weren't the experts from the major powers Qin Wentian had pointed out. Instead, they were from the hegemonic power of the eastern regions, the immortal Qinbian Gate. In the royal capital of the empire, Qin Wentian, Chongqing the Great and the others were all present. They stared at the three figures before them. Qin Wentian had never seen these three before, but all of them had extremely powerful cultivation bases. One was a peak-stage Immortal Emperor while the other two were at the mid-stage. The peak-stage Immortal Emperor in the lead was clad in platinum robes, exuding an imposing aura. Junior brother Qin. When the three of them saw Qin Wentian, the Immortal in the lead directly called out. Right now, there was no need to hide anything. Since the Heavenly Talisman realm has already entered the secular world and used the Immortal Qinbian Gate to enter Azure Mystic, they naturally wouldn't be afraid of exposing anything. They directly addressed Qin Wentian as junior brother. Chongqing the Great and the others didn't feel surprised. They had long guessed that Jun Mengchen had always been the junior apprentice brother of Qin Wentian. Since Jun Mengchen originated from the Immortal Qinbian Gate, Qin Wentian should be the same as well. Be seated. Qin Wentian spoke. The Immortal Emperor in the lead waved his hands. I'll leave after saying a few words. Junior brother Qin survived a great calamity and now that you've returned, I'm very happy for you. Today, our sect has already come out of seclusion. Junior brother Qin, you should return to join us in conquering the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms. We are already hegemons of an area and if we add on the strength of junior brother Qin, it would undoubtedly be like adding wings to a tiger. Get Bai Wuya and Jun Mengchen to come talk to me. Qin Wentian calmly spoke, his words causing the Immortal Emperor to stiffen. After that, he smiled, Jun Mengchen is already a traitor. If junior brother Qin sees him, don't forget to kill him. Bai Wuya is currently in closed-door seclusion and it isn't convenient for him to come here. Why did Jun Mengchen betray us? Qin Wentian asked. How would I know? Our sect has shown him kindness as heavy as a mountain. He cultivated under our tutelage but in the end, he actually betrayed us. This is simply disgraceful. That immortal emperor coldly snorted. When I see him, I will naturally ask him clearly. The three of you, please return. Qin Wentian directly gave the order to chase them away. The three of them frowned. Qin Wentian, what do you mean by this? Could it be that you don't want to submit to the sect and want to learn from Jun Mengchen? Qin Wentian frowned as his eyes flashed with coldness. May I ask, what's the purpose of the sect? Is there a sect that doesn't force its disciples to do anything? The times now are different from the past. Now that the world is in chaos, we naturally have to unite and fight side by side with our sect, unifying Azure Mystic. Another immortal emperor spoke. So this is the case. Now that I've returned with great strength, the sect finally thought of me and wants to unite and fight side by side with us. In that case, when I was weak back then, when the major powers of Azure Mystic surrounded the royal palace, where was the sect? Did it fight side by side with me? Qin Wentian coldly asked. Back then, the Heavenly Talisman realm didn't fight for him and he didn't have much resentment. After all, this was the purpose of the Heavenly Talisman realm. However, you didn't fight back then. Now that he has grown stronger, you want me to submit and fight side by side with you? How ridiculous. In addition, the Heavenly Talisman realm transformed into the Immortal Qianbian Gate and even threatened the Evergreen Kingdom to submit, hunting Jun Mengchen. Since this is the case, Qin Wentian has already severed all ties with the Heavenly Talisman realm. From now on, the Heavenly Talisman realm is the Heavenly Talisman realm and he, Qin Wentian, is Qin Wentian. In that case, do you really want to learn from Jun Mengchen? The Immortal Emperor in the lead coldly spoke. Have you guys sensed the imprint of the Heavenly Talisman realm on me before? Qin Wentian suddenly asked. Since the other party said this, there was no need for them to continue talking. The three of them frowned. This was also something they felt strange about. The disciples of the Heavenly Talisman realm could sense each other's identity. However, Qin Wentian didn't have the imprint of the Heavenly Talisman realm on him. Did you order your men to destroy the imprint? That immortal emperor coldly spoke. Back then during the Battle of the Evergreen Kingdom, I, Qin Wentian, have already died once and the imprint has already vanished. The Qin Wentian today is no longer the Qin Wentian of the past. Everyone, please do as you wish. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. His words were extremely clear. He had already died once and right now, he was no longer the Qin Wentian of the past. His relationship with the Heavenly Talisman realm has already been severed. The expressions of the three immortal emperors turned ugly to behold. They stared at Qin Wentian only to see the immortal emperor in the lead coldly speaking, since you are no longer a disciple of our sect, don't blame us for being ruthless if anything happens in the future. Farewell. After speaking, the three of them flicked their sleeves and departed. This was already a threat to Qin Wentian. How could Qin Wentian care about this? He owed the Heavenly Talisman realm and had a sense of belonging to the Heavenly Talisman realm back then. However, they wanted the Evergreen Kingdom to submit and even wanted to destroy the Evergreen Kingdom. They even forced Jun Mengchen to betray the Evergreen Kingdom and wanted to hunt down Jun Mengchen. In that case, their deaths back then could be considered to have been severed. After the Heavenly Talisman realm, another guest came to the Evergreen Kingdom. This time around, it was actually a guest from the powerful nine-tailed demon fox race. In addition, it was the fox goddess with breathtaking beauty. She personally came here to send someone back. Big Brother Qin. Beside the fox goddess, a sexy yet pure maiden could be seen. This was none other than Purgatory. When she saw Qin Wentian, her silhouette flashed as she actually leapt into Qin Wentian's embrace. Her life was bestowed to her by Qin Wentian. In this world, there was no one whose meaning to her could be compared to Qin Wentian. Back then when Qin Wentian died, she was filled with despair. She didn't expect that she would be able to see Qin Wentian standing before her again today. She was naturally filled with joy. Purgatory. Qin Wentian hugged Purgatory and patted her on the shoulder. He then turned his gaze to the fox goddess in the air. This was the woman he once defeated back then in the city of ancient emperors. Many thanks. Qin Wentian smiled. The fox goddess's expression was cold. She glanced at Qin Wentian and spoke, "Someone entrusted this task to me. Now that the person has arrived, I will bid my farewell." After speaking, the fox goddess directly floated away, not lingering for even a moment. Purgatory walked out from Qin Wentian's embrace. Her eyes were filled with tears as she sobbed, "That old demon is dead." Old demon? Qin Wentian's gaze froze. It's the old demon who has always been taking care of Little Rascal. He and Little Rascal were pursued by Jia Yima of the Forak race and the King of the Sun Gold Demon race. In the end, they were killed and Little Rascal escaped. Purgatory sobbed. Back then when Qin Wentian was killed, it was that old demon who had been taking care of her and Little Rascal all these years. The old demon had a relationship with the nine-tailed fox race and had entrusted her to the care of the nine-tailed fox race. After hearing the news that Qin Wentian was still alive, she asked the nine-tailed fox race to send her back. Qin Wentian's heart trembled as he felt a sense of melancholy. He thought back to that old demon who was together with Little Rascal back then. Although he wasn't familiar with that old demon, he still felt a sense of sadness in his heart. Where's Little Rascal? Where is he now? I'll go look for him. Qin Wentian spoke. Purgatory shook her head, "I only know that he was chased all the way into the depths of the desolate mountains. He should have been injured and I don't know where he is now. However, his concealment abilities are very strong, he should be fine." Little Rascal could transform into a myriad of forms and was also extremely intelligent. Forak race, Sun Gold Demon race. An intense killing intent gushed forth from Qin Wentian. Rumble. At this moment, the entire space trembled as a terrifying screen of light manifested in the air. A fearsome might actually penetrated through space as a beam of destructive light directly shot towards the Emperor Palace of the evergreen Immortal Empire. A few figures soared up into the air, they were none other than Qin Wentian's subordinates. Emperor light radiated from them, blocking the beam of light. "Qin Wentian, you actually didn't die." A cold voice thundered through the air. Qin Wentian slowly soared up into the air. He could see that the space around him had been pierced through. There were people attacking the Evergreen Kingdom from afar. This was the treasure of old devil Duo Tian, the heaven-seizing bull. Back then on the Demon God Mountain, old devil Duo Tian had used this method to attack Qin Wentian. Through the hole in space, he could see a black-colored palace. Over there, a few faces could be seen. Old devil Duo Tian, Zidi and Eastern Sage. Their gazes were cold, radiating killing intent as they shot towards Qin Wentian. "There's a path to heaven but you refuse to take it. There's no gate to hell but you want to barge in." Qin Wentian's expression was like ice. Eastern Sage and Zidi finally appeared and they even took the initiative to send themselves to his doorstep. Qin Wentian stretched out his palm. In an instant, a terrifying void palm imprint directly traversed through space, following the direction of the beam of light. The eyes of old devil Duo Tian flashed as he coldly spoke, "What's going on? Where did he get his spatial abilities from?" The heaven-seizing bull shone with a terrifying light, unceasingly penetrating through space, destroying Qin Wentian's attack. However, Qin Wentian stepped out as numerous spatial gates appeared. Qin Wentian walked towards one of the spatial gates and in just an instant, he traversed through space and appeared. In the next instant, Qin Wentian directly appeared in the territory of Old Devil Duo Tian, staring down at Old Devil Duo Tian, Eastern Sage and Zidi. Chapter 1683. In the towering mountain range, there were numerous majestic black palaces. Old Devil Duo Tian, Zidi and Dongxing Heaven Emperor stood in the airspace above an ancient palace. Upon seeing Qin Wentian, Old Devil Duo Tian's expression was as unsightly as it could be. He used the heaven-seizing alms bowl to attack, wanting to probe how strong Qin Wentian was. The heaven-seizing alms bowl was an extremely powerful emperor-ranked weapon that could traverse space to attack. As long as he knew the exact location of Qin Wentian, although he didn't know where Qin Wentian was, he knew that there was no mistake in attacking the evergreen Immortal Empire's imperial palace. Naturally, Old Devil Duo Tian wouldn't be so foolish to think that he would be able to kill Qin Wentian just by relying on the heaven-seizing alms bowl. He only wanted to see what level Qin Wentian was at exactly before he decided to deal with him. After all, they were going to face this enemy. However, he clearly didn't expect that Qin Wentian would directly use the heaven-seizing alms bowl to traverse space and arrive here. Qin Wentian's attainments in spatial energy were even higher compared to him. Just a single attack from Qin Wentian was enough for Old Devil Duo Tian to know how terrifying Qin Wentian was. Zidi and Dongxing Heaven Emperor also didn't understand what was going on. They knew that Qin Wentian was proficient in spatial energy, and they knew that he definitely didn't have any spatial attribute energy. However, that spatial gate clearly contained spatial energy. Qin Wentian could even traverse space and directly appear here. They couldn't understand what was going on. After that, the eyes of Zidi and Dongxing Heaven Emperor were filled with hatred. As the saying goes, when enemies meet, their eyes would turn red. The grudge between Zidi, Eastern Sage, and Qin Wentian was simply too deep. This was especially so for Eastern Sage. Ever since Qin Wentian left this particle world, the grudge between them had already been formed. They couldn't coexist under the same sky as Eastern Sage. Zidi was the same as well, he had a grudge against Qin Wentian for killing his son. These two illustrious figures of the immortal realms had similarly oppressed Qin Wentian into an extremely sorry and miserable state all those years ago, and he'd almost been killed by them. As for Old Devil Duo Tian, he helped the Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor to kill him. Now, he even took in Zidi, plotting to deal with him once again. This could already be considered as a fight to the death. Qin Wentian, how dare you come here? I want to see whose hell this is. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor coldly spoke. Although he could sense that Qin Wentian might be very powerful, this place was the old lair of Old Devil Duo Tian. Qin Wentian's Immortal Emperor army wouldn't be able to descend here. Chongqing the Great and the others didn't come as well. Qin Wentian was alone, the three peak stage Immortal Emperors and the followers of Old Devil Duo Tian. Qin Wentian glanced at Eastern Sage, his eyes filled with disdain. He emotionlessly spoke, "Old dog Eastern Sage, it has been so many years since we last met. You are still as retarded as ever. You." Eastern Sage roared in rage. Emperor Light flashed as he punched out with his fist. Millions of fist shadows descended from the sky, smashing towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian stared at the sky filled with fist shadows as he stood there arrogantly. His body glowed with a bright light, allowing the towering fist shadows to slam into his body. Thunderous rumbling sounds rang out, but the fist shadows had no way to break through the barrier. Finally, the fist shadows dissipated. "Old dog, are you trying to tickle me?" Qin Wentian stared at the ugly expression on Eastern Sage's face as he spoke. Old Devil Duo Tian's personality was extremely cautious and cunning. He was also extremely cruel, and when he saw this scene, he was already thinking of a path of retreat in his heart. Although Eastern Sage's attacks couldn't be considered too strong, he was still a peak stage Immortal Emperor after all. A single strike from him could cause mountains and rivers to change color. However, Qin Wentian actually stood there unmoving. It was impossible for him to do this. Even the 3 peak stage immortal emperors might not be able to do anything to Qin Wentian. More and more experts soared up into the air, releasing their auras as emperor light flashed. Qin Wentian swept his gaze over. Old devil Duo Tian was infamous outside, he was extremely famous in the immortal realms. He was an independent entity and had many famous subordinates under him. When they were being hunted down by others in the immortal realms, they would choose to join old devil Duo Tian. Back then when the Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor was destroyed by the 1,000 Transformations Immortal sect, the Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor was in an extremely miserable state. For revenge, he chose to join old devil Duo Tian. The Violet Emperor was pursued by Emperor Yu for many years and eventually, he was forced to follow in the footsteps of Eastern Sage. The experts in the air above the Black Palace were all ruthless characters. Since this was the case, he didn't feel any burden in his heart. Rumble. With an intention of his will, an instant later, boundless radiance manifested in the air, as well as countless sharp swords, enveloping the entire space. The swords appeared in the air, enveloping the entire darkness mountain range. At this moment it was like the end of the world had arrived. Old devil Duo Tian, Zidi and Eastern Sage inclined their heads as terror could be seen on their faces. This entire world seemed to be filled with light and swords, wanting to cleanse all the impurities in the world, purifying all evil. This scene was too terrifying. Qin Wentian stretched out his hands. His will seemed to have transformed into the will of the heavens and earth, or at the very least, represented the will of this entire world. This. Old devil Duo Tian's expression contorted, the hand that was holding onto the heaven-seizing bowl was trembling. He had always been wise, yet today, was he going to be implicated to death by Zidi and Eastern Sage? The others were all shocked as well. Many of them directly knelt down, "Senior, we were only forced to serve old devil Duo Tian. We didn't do it willingly, please forgive us." These people all felt a surge of heavenly might, an irresistible heavenly might. Zidi and Eastern Sage's hearts pounded unceasingly. Their bodies trembled as they stared at Qin Wentian. They were truly afraid, truly afraid. Right now, how could Qin Wentian still be the young man from before? How could he still be a junior that they could kill with a flick of their fingers? The Qin Wentian who had returned today could easily destroy them. All the sins in this place shall be cleansed from now on. Qin Wentian faintly spoke. At this moment, a beam of light and sword might descended from the sky, landing on the mountain range below. Under the light, numerous faces of despair could be seen. They didn't even have the strength to resist. Regardless of their cultivation bases, immortal kings or immortal emperors, they couldn't escape from this world-destroying might. When the sword might of light landed, the black mountain range was razed to the ground, transforming into a deep crater. Many years later, this place would become a treasured cultivation ground where one could comprehend the will of a sage. With a single thought, the heavens and earth were destroyed. Only old devil Duo Tian, Zidi and Eastern Sage were still alive. At this moment, the last strand of hope they had was shattered. They knew what they were going to face. Terror filled their hearts. Qin Wentian, I have no grudge with you. My actions against you were all instigated by that old dog Eastern Sage. I'm willing to kill him for you. Old devil Duo Tian suddenly spoke, admitting defeat and begging for mercy. He understood what kind of situation they were facing now. Qin Wentian has already reached an unimaginable realm. This was a realm he had always been pursuing but was unable to step into. Seeing that Qin Wentian had no reaction, old devil Duo Tian continued, in the future, I'm willing to follow you, only following you. Qin Wentian coldly stared at him, no grudges or grievances. Back then on the Demon God Mountain, I was merely an immortal king. You borrowed the power of the heaven-seizing bowl and ambushed me. If it wasn't for the Southern Phoenix matriarch helping me, I would have long been annihilated. How would I have the chance to stand here? As for followers, I don't lack them. As the sound of his voice faded, an incomparably resplendent beam of light cascaded down on Old Devil Duo Tian. Old Devil Duo Tian retreated with explosive speed, but how would he have the chance to escape? He struggled madly under the radiance of the light, but after that, he was destroyed bit by bit, transforming into motes of light that vanished from this world. Old Devil Duo Tian, whose name shook the immortal realms, died just like that. He took the initiative to provoke Qin Wentian, causing Qin Wentian to slaughter his way to his lair and kill him. Most probably, if news of this spread out, he would be the butt of everyone's jokes. The majestic black-colored palace had long been razed to flat ground, turning into dust. The radiance illuminated the sky as the sword might bore down on their heads. Ziti and Eastern Sage both felt a sense of desolation and despair as they stared at the figure before them. Back then, they watched as a junior grew up. Now, he actually stepped into that unfathomable realm. How many years has it been? Where did he get his light elemental energy from? I'm unwilling. Eastern Sage was like an enraged beast. His countenance contorted. Back then, I should have spared no expense to kill you. How would I have allowed you to have today? Ziti also felt the same way. He knew that there was no way for him to survive. Qin Wentian didn't even spare the people from Old Devil Duo Tian's lair, let alone them. Back then, he and Eastern Sage did indeed have a chance to kill Qin Wentian. It was just that at that time, Qin Wentian was too weak, an ant-like character. They didn't even bother to lower their statuses. An immortal emperor of a territory wanting to kill an immortal foundation character, wouldn't that be a joke? But after they discovered Qin Wentian's shocking talent, they no longer had the chance to do so. Right now, Qin Wentian could already easily crush them to death. Indeed, you should regret. But what you regret shouldn't be that you didn't kill me. Rather, you shouldn't have disobeyed Chongqing the Great's instructions and humiliated me because of your son Dongxingting. If it wasn't for that incident back then, I might already be a disciple of Eastern Sage. Thinking about it this way, I should be thanking you instead, granting me my wish. Qin Wentian emotionlessly spoke. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor's heart trembled. Wasn't Qin Wentian's words the truth? Back then, he could have become Qin Wentian's master. If that was the case, given Qin Wentian's current achievements, how glorious would his Eastern Sage be in the immortal realms? Would the Dongxing Gate still be destroyed? When he thought of this, the pain in his heart grew even more intense. Ziti, there shouldn't be any grudge between us. Zi Daoyang's death was caused by Mo Xie, but the arrogant you, the tyrannical you, actually vented your anger on me. Back then, both of you were lofty, treating me like an ant, disdainfully toying with me. Who would have thought that after a few hundred years, the winds and clouds changed, the blue seas of the world turned into mulberry fields? Today, with the death of the two of you, everything shall come to an end. As the sound of Qin Wentian's voice faded, light descended, illuminating the faces of Eastern Sage and Ziti. At the last moment of their lives, their expressions changed unceasingly. But eventually, they no longer struggled and calmly accepted the judgment of death. Hundreds of years had passed, the blue seas of the world turned into mulberry fields. Back then, they were lofty existences. When had they ever cared about the opinions of a minor character? In addition, it was unknown how many minor characters like Qin Wentian were. But how many could be like Qin Wentian? Everything could only be said to be a joke of fate. As the light descended, Ziti and Eastern Sage vanished. Very swiftly, news circulated out of the immortal realms. Old Devil Duo Tian, Ziti and Eastern Sage had all died, killed by Qin Wentian alone. Old Devil Duo Tian's subordinates were also annihilated along with them. Even his headquarters was buried. From now onwards, there was no more Old Devil Duo Tian, Ziti and Eastern Sage in the immortal realms. Suddenly, there were 3 less characters in the immortal realms. Chapter 1684. In the Azure Mystic Immortal realms, because of the deaths of Old Devil Duo Tian, Zidi, Dongxing Heaven Emperor and the others, the entire Azure Mystic Immortal realms trembled. Right now, many people were guessing how strong Qin Wentian was exactly now. Back then, during the battle in the Evergreen Kingdom, he killed 3 immortal emperors. At that time, he was only at the Immortal King realm. Based on this deduction, his cultivation base should be at the peak stage of the Immortal Emperor realm now. In that case, for immortal emperors, there shouldn't be many who could defeat Qin Wentian. Wanting to kill Qin Wentian was as difficult as ascending the heavens. Unless another war of geniuses occurred and half of the major powers in the immortal realms participated in the slaughter. Just when everyone was still discussing the deaths of Old Devil Duo Tian and the others, in the desolate lands, on the towering ancient mountain range, there were many gigantic palaces constructed. These palaces were much larger than the palaces of the humans. Because, this was the Foarok race, and the greater demons of the Foarok race lived here. At this moment, in the airspace above this towering mountain range, a white-robed figure suddenly appeared. His gaze was fixed on the area below, his white robes fluttering in the wind. Hu Qi. The whistling sound of the wind abruptly rang out as terrifying sound waves tore through the air. Many greater demons shot up into the air with lightning speed, staring at the white-robed figure. There were many different types of greater demons that appeared. The majority of them were flying beasts, but there were also some greater demons of the Foarok race that possessed the bloodline of phoenixes. Naturally, it wasn't possible for all the greater demons of the Foarok race to be phoenixes. Such mutated greater demons were extremely rare and they were all the kings of their race. They controlled many other demonic beasts that possessed their bloodline and enslaved many greater demons that didn't have a bloodline connection with them. Qin Wentian didn't look at these demonic beasts. His immortal sense enveloped the lair of the Foarok race. A strand of his immortal sense directly penetrated through the layers of obstructions, entering an incomparably majestic demon cave. Jia Yima, scram out here. Qin Wentian's voice was transmitted directly into the body of a greater demon that was hovering in the cave. That greater demon opened his eyes as a terrifying light radiated from his eyes. After which, he slowly stood up and spread his wings. His eyes flickered as he disappeared from sight. Jia Yima, an emperor of the Foarok race. He had an incomparably terrifying bloodline of the Foarok race and had innate techniques. With a flash, he directly soared through the air. Qin Wentian only felt an attack faster than lightning, sharper than a sword slashing towards him. It was too fast, so fast that ordinary peak-stage immortal emperors wouldn't even have time to react. This was the innate ability of the Foarok race, extreme speed. However, the opponent Jia Yima encountered was none other than Qin Wentian. With a stomp of his foot, the entire space trembled as the mountains and the surroundings crumbled under the pressure of that terrifying rhythm. After which, all the demons only saw Qin Wentian blocking Jia Yima's attack. A gigantic palm imprint appeared before him, forcing Jia Yima back. Jia Yima's speed was too fast, he spun in the air like a phantom. With a howl, Qin Wentian was enveloped by the flames of a phoenix, directly burning him up. Jia Yima's wings flapped again as lightning shot out. A pair of incomparably terrifying claws containing indomitable might slashed downwards. Qin Wentian appeared extremely tiny under his claws. Terrifying innate techniques manifested within those claws. It was like numerous divine birds of the heavens and earth appeared, wanting to crush Qin Wentian's body. Countless greater demons spiraled in the air, revolving around Qin Wentian, watching the battle between their king and Qin Wentian. Although Qin Wentian was extremely famous now, Jia Yima was their king, the king of the Foarok race. How powerful was he? They didn't believe that Qin Wentian would be able to defeat their king at the same cultivation realm. Qin Wentian stretched out his hand and stabbed out with a finger. His sword transformed into a heavenly rock, destroying the divine birds. Qin Wentian stretched out his palm, causing the heavens and earth to tremble violently. Qin Wentian's body actually expanded rapidly as his palm grew larger as well. His gigantic frame resembled a divinity as he directly grabbed onto Jia Yima's claws. Jia Yima roared, folding his wings together as he slashed towards Qin Wentian. That pair of wings slashed out with the might of millions of divine weapons. He opened his mouth and spat out phoenix divine flames, wanting to destroy everything. But at this moment, countless vines appeared around Qin Wentian. He seemed to have transformed into a tree demon. Countless vines grew out from the rocks, coiling around Jia Yima's sharp claws, wanting to bind his gigantic body. The divine weapon slashing over was blocked by a resplendent golden Buddha body. After that, Jia Yima's wings were also bound as he struggled madly. How powerful was the Jia Yima? But at this moment, despite his frenzied struggles, Qin Wentian didn't budge at all. Qin Wentian continued to bind the Jia Yima. Incomparably resplendent sharp swords bloomed, Qin Wentian directly pierced them into the stomach of the Jia Yima. The Jia Yima screamed in agony as he struggled even more intensely. Numerous terrifying greater demons rushed over, only to see Qin Wentian bringing the Jia Yima up into the air. After that, he stood on the back of the Jia Yima and directly plucked out the feathers of the Monarch. Fresh blood flowed everywhere as screams of agony rang out unceasingly. The Jia Yima trembled violently, shuttling through the air unstably. Qin Wentian unceasingly plucked out the feathers of the Jia Yima as his screams of agony shook the heavens and earth. The experts of the Monarch race frenziedly rushed over, surrounding the space, but they had no chance to act against Qin Wentian, who was on the back of the Jia Yima. At this moment, Qin Wentian's hand was as sharp as a blade, even more ironic than a sword. He directly pierced into the head of the Jia Yima, slicing through it and plucking out one of its tendons. An incomparably mournful scream rang out, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. Such a tragic state caused the experts of the Monarch race to go crazy as they surrounded Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian stood arrogantly on the back of the Jia Yima. Right now, the Jia Yima's entire body was covered in blood and he was on the verge of death. At this moment, a spatial gate appeared beside Qin Wentian. Within a month, send the news of my return to little rascal. If he doesn't return within a month, I will pluck out the feathers on his body and use them to refine a weapon. I will pluck out the tendons on his body and refine them into zither strings. Qin Wentian spoke. After that, he dragged the incomparably miserable Jia Yima into the spatial gate. After that, the spatial gate flickered and they vanished from sight. Countless demonic beasts let out frenzied roars as they fell into complete chaos. However, they didn't know what to do at this moment. Qin Wentian's domineering arrival had plucked out the Jia Yima's feathers and tendons. Who among them would be able to deal with Qin Wentian? The Jia Yima was the emperor of the Monarch race, the strongest expert of the Monarch race. But because he dealt with Qin Wentian's demonic beast companion, he was actually in such a miserable state. Naturally, the Jia Yima wasn't alone. Because after dealing with him, Qin Wentian arrived at the Gold Sun race. The arrogance of the experts from the Gold Sun race towered up into the sky, bathing in the divine flames of the sun. This was especially so for their king, he was terrifying to the extreme, like a sun god. But not long after, his ending was the same as the Jia Yima. Like a dead dog, he was dragged away by Qin Wentian and was brought to the imperial palace of the Evergreen Kingdom. At this moment, the news of old devil duo Tian, Zidi and Eastern Sage's deaths had just circulated through the immortal realms. In fact, there were still many places that hadn't received the news yet. The Jia Yima and the king of the Gold Sun race were thrown into the imperial palace of the Evergreen Kingdom by Qin Wentian. This news soon circulated together with the news of old devil duo Tian and the others. The people of the immortal realms were so shocked that they were speechless. The waves in their hearts were unable to calm down even after a long time. Too violent, too tyrannical. That was the king of the Monarch race and the king of the Gold Sun race. Both of them were supreme existences among the demonic beasts. Even in the desolate mountain range, they were terrifying existences with heaven-defying combat prowess. In the city of ancient emperors, there was basically no one who dared to antagonize them. However, before the eyes of their clansmen, they were plucked by Qin Wentian. This was simply too miserable. There were people who started to spread the details of the two battles. Many people sighed when they heard the news. In the Immortal Emperor realm, Qin Wentian was invincible. No one could defeat him. A supreme demon-level genius, unrivaled in the Immortal Emperor realm. If ancient emperors didn't appear, who could contend against him? They finally understood why the powerful Ing clan and the terrifying 9 emperors' immortal state were all annihilated. Because, right now, Qin Wentian already had the strength to stand above everyone else. The Foarok race and Gold Sun race suffered great humiliation, but they didn't dare to kill their way into the Evergreen Kingdom Palace. After personally witnessing that battle, they saw how ruthless Qin Wentian was. They were filled with a deep fear towards Qin Wentian. They started to transmit this news back to the desolate mountain range, hoping that this news would reach the ears of Qin Wentian's demonic beast companion, telling him to hurry back to look for Qin Wentian. If not, if that baleful god went crazy, their king would surely be in for it. Because of a single sentence brought back by Purgatory, the 2 demonic beast hegemons were now lying on the ground of the Evergreen Kingdom Palace, on the verge of death. Both of them were in an extremely miserable state. The Evergreen Immortal Emperor and the others stared at the 2 powerless hegemons lying on the ground before glancing at Qin Wentian. They could only sigh in admiration at how demonic he was. Other than this, what else could they say? Purgatory's beautiful eyes spat out flames as she stared fixedly at the 2 demonic beast hegemons. The old demon was killed by them, and little rascal was forced to flee for his life. Now that her big brother Qin has returned, they could finally vent their frustrations. Purgatory, I told them to transmit the news. Can little rascal hear it? Qin Wentian asked. These 2 demonic beast hegemons have extremely high prestige in the desolate mountains. If they transmitted the news, little rascal should know about it. Purgatory nodded heavily. She thought of the old demon again as her eyes turned red. Qin Wentian rubbed Purgatory's head and pinched her cheeks. It's all in the past, don't think about it anymore. Purgatory leaned on Qin Wentian. She would only be like this when she was in front of Qin Wentian. She was born because of Qin Wentian and had a strong sense of attachment to him. During this period of time when Qin Wentian was away, it was the old demon who took care of her. This was why she was so sad. Spread the news. A month later, I, Qin Wentian, will invite all the heroes of the immortal realms here to settle all the grudges in the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms. Qin Wentian spoke. The eyes of Chongqing the Great, GD and the others flashed. Qin Wentian wanted to announce this to the world, summoning all the heroes of the immortal realms here. This time around, would it be the same as in the past? Half of the major powers in the immortal realms would join forces to surround and kill Qin Wentian. Chapter 1685. The news released by Qin Wentian soon circulated through the immortal realms. Right now, the Evergreen Kingdom Palace as well as Qin Wentian had already become the focal point of the immortal realms. Countless peak powers had their eyes on them and every action of theirs was monitored by them. Right now, Qin Wentian issued an order to gather all the peak powers of the immortal realms in the Evergreen Kingdom a month later. Hence, from this day onwards, the originally desolate royal capital of the Evergreen Kingdom once again became lively. Hegemons from all over the immortal realms rushed here, preparing to witness the unprecedented grand event in the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms. Back then, more than half of the peak powers of the immortal realms gathered in the royal capital of the Evergreen Kingdom to kill Qin Wentian. That battle shook the world and there had never been so many peak powers participating in the same battle before. But now, the news of the Evergreen Kingdom circulated out. Many people started to speculate that the forces this time around would be even stronger compared to the previous battle. The peak powers of the immortal realms started to contact each other or form alliances in response to Qin Wenqian's invitation. All of them were preparing to head to the Evergreen Kingdom a month later. Many peak powers were secretly discussing how to kill Qin Wenqian. Since Qin Wenqian took the initiative to invite all the heroes of the immortal realms to gather there, they would kill him again on that day. They didn't believe that Qin Wenqian would be able to escape this calamity. No one went to the Evergreen Kingdom to find trouble with Qin Wenqian. After all, there were precedents. The Ying clan was annihilated, the 9 emperors Immortal Emperor, Skymist Immortal Emperor and the others arrived in the Evergreen Kingdom and were all killed. Eastern Sage provoked Qin Wenqian and Old Devil Duo Tian used the Heaven Seizing Bowl to attack Qin Wenqian but were all killed. The kings of the Fourok race and Sun Gold Demon race were all captured by Qin Wenqian alone. Qin Wenqian was simply a god of death. Who would dare to antagonize him? Unless he was tired of living. After that, more and more people from the Evergreen Kingdom arrived. When the people from the Battle Saint tribe learned of the return of their Saint Lord, they all thought of methods to return to the Evergreen Kingdom Palace to pay their respects. They all felt pride in their hearts. Right now, their Saint Lord was already a character that stood at the peak of the immortal realms. There were 3 experts from the Battle Saint tribe who broke through to the Immortal Emperor realm, their strength extraordinary. After that, Qin Wenqian brought the 3 of them to the 3rd world of the Battle Saint tribe. When they returned, there were 24 Immortal Emperors by Qin Wenqian's side. The army of Immortal Emperors in the Evergreen Kingdom grew even more terrifying, faintly exuding the aura of a hegemon of the immortal realms. Right now, there were Changqing the Great, the White Emperor, Qing'er, GD's followers, the Southern Phoenix Matriarch and the other Immortal Emperors of the Namhuang clan, as well as the Lifire Monarch and the Immortal Emperors of the Battle Saint tribe. Their numbers were simply terrifying. The moment Qin Wenqian returned, he immediately gathered all these powers together. After that, Emperor Yu also returned. When he learned that Qin Wenqian had killed Old Devil Duo Tian, Zidi and Eastern Sage, he felt incomparably shocked in his heart. Now that he came to the Evergreen Kingdom and even saw a few good friends from the Battle Saint tribe, he was extremely happy. Hence, he decided to stay behind and follow Qin Wenqian. Today, in the royal palace of the empire, Qin Wenqian was having a private discussion with the experts from the Battle Saint tribe. Wenqian, back then when I first met you, you were only at the initial stage of Immortal Foundation. Who would have thought that after a short few hundred years, you have already reached the peak of the world? Emperor Yu sighed, staring at the white-robed figure as his heart was filled with emotions. Saint Lord is truly an extraordinary character. Qi nodded. He still remembered the scene back then when he followed Qin Wenqian. At that time, Qin Wenqian was still in the first world. But now, many of the people here were old ancestor-level characters from the third world. Senior Emperor Yu has always been taking care of me in the dark. This is why I have today. Qin Wenqian spoke with gratitude. You are the Saint Lord of this generation. This is something I should do. Emperor Yu smiled. I received news about ancient Emperor Yi in the upper world. Qin Wenqian suddenly spoke, his words causing the eyes of Emperor Yu to flash. Back then, he was none other than ancient Emperor Yi's follower. One could say that ancient Emperor Yi was his Saint Lord. How is the previous Saint Lord? Emperor Yu hurriedly asked. Very good. He is truly above the Immortal Emperor realm, surpassing the ancient Emperor realm and stepping into the World Overlord realm. Although I didn't manage to meet Senior Yi, I met 2 people from the Battle Saint tribe. They are the followers of Senior Yi and are now at the same level as me. They are both palace lords. Qin Wenqian smiled. Emperor Yu's eyes gleamed with sharpness as he cast a deep glance at Qin Wenqian. There was a lot of information in these words. This meant that Qin Wenqian was also a palace lord in the supreme ancient immortal realms. It was very possible that he was at the ancient emperor realm. Wentian, after the matters in Azure Mystic are settled, I plan to follow you to the upper world to pay my respects to my old brothers and pay my respects to Saint Lord E. Emperor, you spoke. Emicham, okay. Qin Wentian nodded. After chatting for a while, everyone's respect for Qin Wentian grew. Right now, it wasn't merely because of Qin Wentian's identity, it was also because of his overwhelming strength. At the border between the Immortal Realms and the myriad Devil Islands, a spatial teleportation array suddenly appeared. In fact, there was even a group of Immortal Emperors guarding it. This caused many people who came from the myriad Devil Islands to feel trepidation. Now that the Immortal Realms were in chaos, could it be that they still wanted to invade the myriad Devil Islands? At this moment, the teleportation array suddenly lit up with a resplendent light. After that, 3 figures appeared. The one in the center was clad in white, exuding boundless magnificence. The 2 beside him were both supreme beauties. One was a white-haired goddess, the other was devastatingly beautiful. We pay our respects to Palace Lord and Madam. The Immortal Emperors guarding this place bowed. Qin Wentian nodded lightly. He held Qin and Imo Qingqing's hands as they directly entered the Devil Gate leading to the myriad Devil Islands. It was none other than Qin Wentian who ordered people to set up a teleportation array at the entrance of the Evergreen Kingdom. In this case, if there were any emergencies, they would be able to rush back as fast as possible. Although he told everyone that they would gather in the Evergreen Kingdom a month later, there were still many people from the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms. It was better to be prepared for some unexpected situations. Is this the myriad Devil Islands? How majestic! Mo Qingqing stared at the floating Devil Islands as her beautiful eyes flashed with a look of admiration. MHM, the myriad Devil Islands are an independent entity. Qin Wentian nodded. They sped through the air, and when they passed by an island, a strange light flashed in Qin Wentian's eyes. In the past, I've cultivated there before. Qin Wentian pointed to a certain direction on the Devil Island. This place was the Blackstone Devil Island, and the Blackstone Devil sect was the hegemon of this island. Back then, he had stayed in the Blackstone Devil sect for a period of time and even assumed the position of a Devil General. Do you have any old friends or beauties? Mo Qingqing stared at Qin Wentian with an ambiguous smile on her face. Ever since Qin Wentian returned, Mo Qingqing became much more cheerful. It was like she had returned to the time when she was young and innocent. During these days, they were truly blissful. She truly hoped that things would continue like this, that Qin Wentian would bring them along wherever he went. Naturally, there are quite a few of them. Qin Wentian pinched Mo Qingqing's nose, causing Mo Qingqing to roll her eyes. She then spoke in a low voice, playing with flowers everywhere. Are you jealous? Haha. Qin Wentian was in an extremely good mood. Let's go, I will bring you guys to see my beauties. As he spoke, he carried the 2 beauties in his arms as his silhouette flashed, directly arriving at the Blackstone Devil sect. The Blackstone Devil King was still the ruler of this island. Lu Xuejia and Juyu were still devil generals of the Devil sect, having high statuses and were extremely powerful. However, they have yet to step into the Devil King realm. Although the Immortal Realms have undergone a great change and countless geniuses have encountered good fortune, this was only for those at the peak. Ordinary characters still had to live their ordinary lives. In the princess residence of the Devil sect, the 3rd princess Yen Yurua was currently resting when she suddenly frowned. She inclined her head and stared at the air. After that, she saw 3 figures descending from the sky, landing in the airspace above the Blackstone Devil sect. Yen Yurua's beautiful eyes instantly froze. Yen Yurua's beautiful eyes stared unblinkingly at Qin Wentian. She naturally also saw the 2 beauties beside Qin Wentian. She stood up, looking as sexy as before, exuding a sense of charm. After that, she glared at Qin Wentian in anger. Heartless bastard, you still have the face to return? Eh. Qin Wentian had a face filled with black lines. He stared at Yen Yurua, third princess. Don't talk nonsense. How am I talking nonsense? Back then you played with my feelings and even bullied me, yet you chose to leave me alone. You bastard. Yen Yurua had a look of grievance on her face as she spoke, as though she was about to cry. Mo Qingqing and Qing both smiled at Qin Wentian, only to see a dumbfounded look on Qin Wentian's face. This female devil, did she have to trick him like this? Upon seeing the expression on Qin Wentian's face, Yen Yurua suddenly broke out into a smile, exuding an incomparable charm. Where did the grievance on her face earlier go? I'm just joking with you. These two fairies are truly stunning beauties. No wonder this bastard doesn't like me. However, I'm also extraordinarily beautiful. Why don't the two fairies allow me to be your concubine? Yen Yurua giggled. After that, she stared at Qin Wentian with hidden bitterness. I've already said it to such an extent, are you still unwilling? As she spoke, her expression turned even more aggrieved. Qin Wentian stared at Yen Yurua's performance. He could feel the hands of Qing and Mo Qingqing twisting around his waist. He speechlessly spoke, Yen Yurua, you better remember this for me. As the sound of his voice faded, he brought Qing and Mo Qingqing along with him as they fled. I want you to remember me. The third princess Yen Yurua was still smiling. Her beautiful eyes were still staring at Qin Wentian's disappearing silhouette. She felt a sense of loss in her heart, as well as sadness. When the Blackstone Devil King arrived, he saw Qin Wentian leaving. Lu Xuejia and Juyu also saw Qin Wentian. However, they only saw him for a moment before he disappeared again. Their hearts were filled with sadness. In the eyes of others, they were ultimately just passers-by in life. On the Fallen Devil Island of the Fallen Devil region, the Celestial Devil Lodge was the same as usual. There would occasionally be young geniuses coming here. However, Fairy Xinu of the Celestial Devil Lodge was no longer accompanying the guests. She had always been by the Lodge Lord's side. Lodge Lord, there's someone outside the Celestial Devil Lodge requesting an audience with you. He says he wants to see Xinu. Someone came to report. A strange look appeared on the Lodge Lord's face, there was actually someone looking for Xinu. Right now in the Celestial Devil Lodge, Xinu rarely appeared outside. Go and take a look. The Lodge Lord spoke to Xinu. Xinu nodded. After that, she came to a pavilion and turned her gaze over there. There was a white-robed figure standing there, exuding an extraordinary aura. There were also two supreme beauties beside him. Xinu only felt her entire body trembling, as though she was struck by lightning. She paused for a moment before she instantly turned and ran away. Xinu. A voice drifted over, causing her body to tremble. She halted her steps as she asked, Sir, what are you doing here? I'm here to see if my old friends are doing well. Qin Wentian spoke in a light voice. Xinu turned and smiled sweetly at Qin Wentian as she asked, These two fairies are the wives of young master, right? Both of you are as beautiful as celestial maidens, causing others to feel ashamed of their inferiority. Chapter 1686. Qin Wentian stared at the smile in Xinu's eyes as he spoke, my wife Mo Qingqing and Qing'er. Sir has always been deeply in love with your wives. Now that I've seen the faces of the two fairies, they are truly a perfect match for you, like a celestial couple. Xinu wishes Sir and the two fairies to love each other forever. Xinu smiled. After that, she bowed slightly. Xinu still has something to do and will make a move first. Sir, please do as you wish. After speaking, she turned and left. Staring at her back view, Qin Wentian didn't say anything. He only sighed and brought Qing'er and Mo Qingqing away. Xinu returned to the Lodge Lord's room. When she heard someone reporting that Qin Wentian had left, Xinu's beautiful eyes turned slightly red. She thought that she would never be able to meet with him again in this lifetime. She didn't expect that he would still come to visit her. His wife was truly a celestial maiden. No wonder she already had someone in her heart back then. Since you still have feelings for him in your heart, why are you so heartless, chasing him away? The Lodge Lord saw everything and sighed as she stared at Xinu. However, Xinu smiled at her. Lodge Lord, do you still remember what Xinu said to you before? Although many years have passed, I still have a deep impression of him. After all, he was a character whose name shook the entire Devil Island back then. Even the fallen Devil Emperor was forced to lower his head by him. The Lodge Lord spoke in a light voice. Back then, Qin Wentian was humiliated on the fallen Devil Island. After that, he made a comeback and brought the vast Sky Devil Emperor and an army with him, causing the entire Devil Island to tremble. Who didn't know about this? But even so, the Lodge Lord of the Lodge didn't dare to agree with Xinu's evaluation of Qin Wentian. When he sat on the throne in the air, staring down at the world, how can she be worthy of being the woman sitting beside him? Xinu's evaluation of Qin Wentian was too high. Hence, she still remembered it clearly. Today, after seeing his wife, I agree with what he said back then even more. Only his wife is worthy of such glory. Although Xinu was smiling when she spoke, the redness in her eyes grew even more intense. The Lodge Lord of the Celestial Devil Lodge sighed. Xinu ultimately still felt inferior, feeling that she wasn't worthy of Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian sighed in his heart. After that, he told Qing'er and Mo Qingqing about some of his experiences in the myriad Devil Islands. After learning about the dangers Qin Wentian encountered, as well as Xinu's sacrifice, they all sighed silently. Qin Wentian was truly a pitiful person. If there's a chance, I'll return the favor from back then. Qing'er spoke in a light voice. Xinu sacrificed herself for Qin Wentian, allowing Qin Wentian to survive a calamity and even raise his cultivation base. However, she herself had to live a pitiful life, living alone by the side of the Lodge Lord of the Celestial Devil Lodge as a maid. Why don't you bring her to your side to take care of you? In any case, you are fond of beauties. Mo Qingqing stared at Qin Wentian as she giggled. She wasn't joking, she and Qin Wentian were separated more often than not. Hence, she was very moved by Xinu's predicament. Qin Wentian sweated as his face was filled with black lines. He directly headed towards the Emperor Palace of the fallen Devil Emperor, heading towards the Devil Mountain. The Devil Mountain was the same as before. This sacred ground of the myriad Devil Islands was still as calm as before. Even though the immortal realms were in chaos, it didn't affect the Devil Mountain. It was just that the internal conflicts of the Devil Mountain were extremely intense. The conflict between the Judiciary Devil Hall and Darkness Devil Hall was extremely deep. Today, a white-robed figure with unmatched magnificence brought along two supreme beauties, directly ascending the Devil Mountain. There was no need to report to anyone. When Qin Wentian arrived at the Devil Mountain, the experts of the 6 great halls were all gathered here, as though they were waiting for his arrival. In truth, from the instant Qin Wentian stepped into the Devil Mountain already knew that Qin Wentian was coming to the myriad Devil Islands. And given Qin Wentian's fame in the immortal realms, there could only be a single reason why he came to the myriad Devil Islands, the Devil Mountain. Hence, the various Devil Halls have long been waiting here. The immortal realms were in chaos, how could the myriad Devil Islands not pay attention to the commotion in the immortal realms? During these days, the commotion that happened shocked the immortal realms, how could the myriad Devil Islands not know about it? And who was Qin Wentian? He once caused a huge commotion in the myriad Devil Islands. In fact, back then when the Evergreen Kingdom surrounded Qin Wentian, all the Devil Halls gathered here. Even the Judiciary Devil Hall, Apostle Devil Hall and myriad ancient Devil Hall personally participated in that war of geniuses. Qin Wentian stared at the experts of the various Devil Halls waiting for him at the peak of the Devil Mountain. Those who appeared at the forefront were actually all Devil Emperors. From this, one could very well imagine how highly they regarded Qin Wentian. Right now, Qin Wentian's fame was simply too resounding. He traversed space to kill old Devil Duo Tian, destroying his lair. He traveled tens of thousands of miles to the desolate mountains and captured 2 demon kings, plucking their hair and tendons. How terrifying was this? Right now, no matter where he went, that place would tremble, even if it was the myriad Devil Islands. In the direction of the Judiciary Devil Hall, a slender figure clad in blood-colored robes walked out. She had a blood-colored laurel crown on her head and took off her mask, revealing a flawlessly beautiful countenance. The cold and emotionless Grand Priestess of Judgment was actually crying at this moment. Her eyes were red as she stared in a daze at the white-robed figure in front of her. Qin Wentian stared at Bai Qing. No matter what Bai Qing's identity was, no matter how much her aura changed, in his eyes, she was still the same as before. She was still that pure and adorable little lass Bai Qing. Little lass Bai Qing, don't you recognize me? Qin Wentian involuntarily laughed when he saw Bai Qing still standing there staring at him in a daze. When Bai Qing heard Qin Wentian's voice, she felt as though she was dreaming. Her silhouette flashed and directly rushed to Qin Wentian's side. Her speed was so fast that it caused people to be speechless. If it was an ordinary character, he would have been sent flying by her. However, Qin Wentian merely smiled dotingly. He hugged Bai Qing and patted her head. Wentian Gage. Bai Qing's eyes turned red as she cried. Back then when she saw Qin Wentian being killed in front of everyone in the Evergreen Kingdom, the despair in her heart was unimaginable. Now that she saw Qin Wentian standing in front of her, Bai Qing felt as though she was in a dream. If this was really a dream, she would rather be immersed in it and never wake up. Everyone stared at Bai Qing as their hearts trembled. Right now, the Grand Priestess of Blood was extremely famous in the myriad Devil Islands. However, she was like a little girl jumping into the embrace of the white-robed young man. This scene was extremely shocking to many, it was simply unimaginable. This was especially so for those who weren't familiar with Qin Wentian, their hearts were filled with fear. Outrageous. As a high priestess, you actually don't care about your status when you do things. How shameful. A cold voice drifted over, interrupting this moment of warmth. Bai Qing came out from Qin Wentian's embrace and glanced at the person who spoke. Her eyes flashed with a blood-red light, terrifying to the extreme. Just when she wanted to step out, she saw Qin Wentian holding her hand. She then turned her head and stared at Qin Wentian, Wentian Gage. Let me handle it. Qin Wentian smiled. Emicham, Bai Qing nodded. Oi, your life is really tough. You didn't die even after that. A voice drifted over. Qin Wentian stared at the figure who walked out from the myriad ancient Devil Hall. Bujia's extraordinary demeanor was getting more and more handsome. However, when he thought of Bujia's lustful nature in the past, he couldn't help but to laugh. Seems like you are living quite comfortably on the myriad Devil Islands. You actually haven't returned to the Buddhist sect yet. Most probably, there are no Buddhist rules here, no one can restrict you from peeking at beauties bathing. Bullshit. How can this emperor be such a lecherous person? Bujia's face turned black. This Qin Wentian actually dared to expose him in public. No matter what, he was still a devil emperor of the myriad ancient Devil Hall. Wasn't this a little too much? What was even stranger was that at this moment, there were a few beautiful devil emperors staring at Bujia, their eyes gleaming with coldness, causing Bujia to shiver. Qin Wentian, the sacred ground of the Devil Mountain isn't a place for you to spout nonsense. Stop acting atrociously here. An expert from the Darkness Devil Hall stared at Qin Wentian, his eyes filled with unfriendliness. Qin Wentian coming to the Devil Mountain caused a bad feeling to appear in their hearts. Sacred ground of the Devil Mountain. Let's talk about this later. Qin Wentian glanced in the direction of the Darkness Devil Hall. After that, he spoke, back then when I entered the Saint Devil Hall, I obtained the inheritance of the Myriad Devil Sovereign. Because my cultivation base was weak back then, I didn't say much. Now that I've returned, I'm here to inherit the inheritance of the Myriad Devil Sovereign and take over the position of the Myriad Devil Sovereign. He came to the Devil Mountain for the sake of becoming the Myriad Devil Island Lord. After stepping into the Empyrean realm, he understood the meaning of the inheritance of the Myriad Devil Islands. The art of control, able to control all devils. What was this? Wasn't this the ability of Empyreans? Giving birth to laws and controlling all laws. This was the inheritance path of ancient emperors, similar to Tao elements. At the same time, it was also the inheritance of the throne of the Myriad Devil Islands. A single sentence from Qin Wentian caused the entire Devil Mountain to fall silent. Even Wuxia shuddered as he shrank back. This fellow was simply too audacious. The moment he came to the Devil Mountain, he immediately said that he wanted to become the Devil Mountain Lord. Wasn't this a little too brazen? Wuxia had always been in awe of Qin Wentian's ferocity. Who would have thought that Qin Wentian was even more ferocious than what he had imagined? The old man from the Apostle Devil Hall laughed as he stared at Qin Wentian. Beside him was that apostle who had some fate with Qin Wentian back then. When he stared at Qin Wentian, his eyes also gleamed with a strange light. This fellow was truly unbridled. Why is the Judiciary Devil Hall still watching? A devil monarch from the Darkness Devil Hall coldly spoke. At this moment, if the Judiciary Devil Hall acted, they would directly take Qin Wentian's life. How can you prove it? At this moment, a voice rang out. The Judiciary Devil Hall Lord personally walked over and asked. Emichem. The eyes of the other Devil Halls flashed. What did the Judiciary Devil Hall Lord mean by this? Humph! A cold snort rang out, only to see a black-robed figure walking out. This figure was a powerful Devil Lord who was enveloped in darkness. He then spoke, I really want to see how the famous Qin Wentian of the Immortal Realms dares to say such disgraceful words in our Myriad Devil Islands. As he spoke, a terrifying darkness law body appeared. It was like a Devil King of Darkness, slamming out towards Qin Wentian, exuding a heaven-shaking might. Qin Wentian took a step forward. Towering devil might gushed forth from him as he stared at the Darkness Devil King. With just a single glance, the Darkness Devil King froze there, unable to move. Showing disrespect to the Myriad Devil Sovereign. Die. Qin Wentian coldly spoke. The Darkness Devil King moved again, its palms actually blasted out towards the Devil Monarch who summoned it. The countenance of the Devil Monarch drastically changed. Boundless devil might gushed forth from him, but all his attacks were destroyed. The devil might from his body gushed forth uncontrollably, and with a thunderous boom, the Darkness Devil King slammed down, directly killing him on the spot. As for the Darkness Devil King, it was destroyed as well. Chapter 1687. My will is the law. The inheritance of the Myriad Devil Sovereign can allow one to reach above the Immortal Emperor realm. Qin Wentian has already comprehended the source origins of the Devil Path. In addition to the inheritance of the Myriad Devil Sovereign, it was as easy as flipping his palms to deal with the experts of the Myriad Devil Islands. These people actually dared to use devil techniques before him. They were simply courting death. The people from the Myriad Devil Islands felt their hearts trembling when they saw a powerful Devil Lord unable to withstand a single strike from Qin Wentian. In fact, he was even killed by Qin Wentian's own strength. This expert who caused the entire Immortal Realms to tremble was simply too terrifying. Little ass Qin, you and Qingqing should all retreat a little. Qin Wentian spoke. After that, Bai Qing and the other two retreated. She naturally believed in her Wentian Gij, she had never doubted his talent. Since her Wentian Gij wants to become the myriad devil sovereign, she would naturally support him fully. For those who don't believe me, you can attack me together. I will let you all see what a true devil sovereign is. Qin Wentian spoke. After that, he stretched his palms out and in an instant, the entire Devil Mountain trembled as a terrifying devil might gushed forth. On the mountain, countless experts from the devil halls inclined their heads and stared in the direction of the peak. After that, they only saw devil clouds churning in the air. At this instant, from the various devil halls, boundless devil light shot out frenziedly. It was like all the devil energy in the halls was under Qin Wentian's control, gushing out ferociously. The sky darkened. In the air, boundless devil might gathered together, transforming into a terrifying throne of the devil sovereign, towering in the air. Only to see Qin Wentian slowly floating up and sitting on the throne of the devil island. A supreme devil might gushed forth from him. His gigantic frame was like a true devil lord, peering down with disdain at the world. Rise! He coldly snorted. In an instant, in the depths of the Imperial Dragon Devil Hall, numerous thunderous dragon roars rang out. After that, the crowd only saw numerous black dragons soaring into the air, instantly appearing above Qin Wentian as they circled around him, bowing their heads in submission. The expressions of the experts from the Imperial Dragon Devil Hall froze as their bodies trembled. Come here. Qin Wentian turned his gaze in the direction of the heavenly demon palace. Over there, an incomparably resplendent light erupted forth as the demonic dragon soared into the skies. After that, it transformed into an incomparably resplendent beam of light. The demonic dragon transformed into a demonic saber and rushed towards Qin Wentian with lightning speed. That was an extremely terrifying demonic treasure saber. Qin Wentian stretched out his hand and pressed it under his palm. Qin Wentian's demonic body became more and more majestic. The experts on the mountain trembled even more violently. Qin Wentian turned his gaze once more in the direction of the Darkness Devil Hall. Over there, rumbling sounds rang out as a palace directly crumbled apart. An incomparably terrifying Devil King Cloak of Darkness flew out, flying towards Qin Wentian who was seated on the throne and draped itself over Qin Wentian's back. Devil King Cloak. The people from the Darkness Devil Hall trembled as they stared fixedly at Qin Wentian. However, this didn't stop. Qin Wentian turned his gaze in the direction of the myriad ancient devil hall only to see a terrifying ancient devil will radiating forth. After that, a towering devil might towered up into the sky as numerous figures of ancient devil kings appeared in the air. They instantly appeared beside Qin Wentian, protecting him. These ancient devil kings now transformed into devil generals, protecting the devil sovereign. Qin Wentian stared at the judiciary devil hall. A terrifying blood-red lightning of judgment shot over, revolving around Qin Wentian, like a law that could judge everything in the world. There was also a blood-red scepter floating in the air. Finally, Qin Wentian turned his gaze to the Apostle Devil Hall. At this moment, a beam of light shot up into the sky as a treasured light flew out, landing on Qin Wentian's head. That was a crown. At this moment, Qin Wentian had completely transformed into the myriad devil sovereign, the ruler of all devils for thousands of years. The experts from the various devil halls below the mountain stared up into the air. All of them were so shocked that their souls were about to scatter. Their bodies trembled violently. My lord has descended. Someone knelt on the ground, his voice trembling. To think that there would be a day where I can see the glory of the devil sovereign. Another old man trembled as he knelt in the direction of Qin Wentian. After that, countless devil cultivators from the devil halls below also knelt on the ground, increasing in number. Not long after, all the devil cultivators on the mountain were kneeling in submission, worshipping the devil sovereign. The inheritance of the myriad devil sovereign, this was the best proof. Even the experts from the 6 devil halls were speechless from shock. After that, an old man from the Apostle Devil Hall walked up and bowed to Qin Wentian, the Apostle Devil Hall has protected the crown of the Devil Sovereign for countless years. Now that the Devil Sovereign has returned, our mission has finally been accomplished. The Apostle Devil Hall submitted, willing to serve Qin Wentian as their lord. The Judiciary Devil Hall Lord walked up and bowed, "I pay my respects to the Devil Sovereign." The myriad ancient Devil Hall Lord appeared and bowed respectfully. When the Darkness Devil Hall, Sky Devil Hall and Imperial Dragon Devil Hall saw this scene, they knew that this was the trend. They had no choice but to submit even if they didn't want to. In any case, who would be able to resist Qin Wentian's current strength? He didn't expect that back then when he ascended the Devil Mountain, he would really obtain the inheritance of the myriad Devil Sovereign, leading to the changes today. Is there anyone who isn't convinced and isn't willing to serve me as the Devil Sovereign? Step out now and I will grant you your freedom. Qin Wentian spoke. At this moment, he was the true Devil Sovereign, peering down at the world, staring down at the countless devil cultivators of the myriad Devil Islands. Nobody spoke. Right now, who else would be able to help him gain the upper hand? Since there's no one who isn't convinced, I won't bother about the grudges of the past. But from now onwards, if there's anyone who dares to disobey my orders, the Judiciary Devil Hall will execute them with no mercy. Qin Wentian coldly spoke, exuding incomparable imposingness. Right now, he was the lord of a devil palace and had towering authority. He naturally had the aura of a ruler. We obey the Devil Sovereign's order. The Judiciary Devil Hall Lord bowed. Qin Wentian swept his gaze over everyone, causing their hearts to tremble. He then spoke, "Gather the Devil Emperors of the various regions and prepare to head to the Immortal Realms. I want to unify Azure Mystic." The people of the myriad Devil Islands felt their hearts trembling when they heard this. All of them inclined their heads and stared in shock at the figure of the Devil Sovereign. Not only did he want to become the myriad Devil Sovereign, he even wanted to unify Azure Mystic, becoming the lord of all immortals, demons and devils. Yes. The various Devil Hall Lords nodded. They were all thinking that seems like Qin Wentian has already reached that level. If not, he wouldn't have the ambition to unify the entire world. Rise, all of you. Qin Wentian's voice rang out. Thank you, Devil Sovereign. On the Devil Mountain, numerous figures stood up, their eyes still staring at the supreme figure in the air. The boundless devil might vanished. Qin Wentian kept the treasures on him. The throne dissipated as Qin Wentian floated in the air. Everyone, return to your positions and do your own things. The experts bowed and retreated, the shock in their hearts didn't fade even after a long time. Bai Qin came up and hugged onto Qin Wentian's arm as she giggled, "Wentian Gage, in the future when I see you, do I have to bow and pay my respects?" Staring at the mischievous smile on Bai Qin's face, Qin Wentian smiled and pinched her cheeks. "You are the younger sister of the Devil Sovereign, there's naturally no need for that." Hee hee. Bai Qin laughed happily. She then glanced at Qing'er and Qing'er, elder sister Qing'er, elder sister Qingqing. The two of them smiled and nodded to Bai Qin. After that, Bai Qin pulled the two of them along. "I will bring you two elder sisters to the myriad Devil Islands for a walk. Let's ignore him." "Sure." Mo Qingqing smiled at Qin Wentian. Qing'er also followed behind Bai Qin. Qin Wentian shrugged as a helpless expression appeared on his face. The three of them were like a drama. Qin Wentian didn't stay for too long on the Devil Mountain. Compared to the myriad Devil Islands, the Evergreen Kingdom was the true center of the whirlpool. Right now, all the hegemonic powers of the Immortal Realms were staring at him. He had to stay in the Evergreen Kingdom to prevent any accidents from happening. Qin Wentian didn't know that after he left, many devil cultivators from the Devil Mountain descended the mountain and came to the Fallen Devil region. Today in the Celestial Devil Lodge, many powerful devil cultivators suddenly appeared. The Lodge Lord of the Fallen Devil region personally accompanied the Fallen Devil Emperor, causing a commotion in the Celestial Devil Lodge. The Lodge Lord led everyone out to welcome them. Her heart was filled with shock and bewilderment. She didn't know what the intentions of these people were. Even the fallen devil emperor had to accompany them. What sort of status did they have exactly? The person in the lead was a female with an extraordinary demeanor. She asked, "Is Lady Xianu here?" Xianu again. The Lodge Lord of the Celestial Devil Lodge felt even more bewildered in her heart. "I will send someone to call her over." "No need, bring me to pay my respects to Lady Xianu." The female spoke. Great waves rose in the heart of the Lodge Lord. The other party used the word "pay my respects." Right. The Lodge Lord of the Celestial Devil Lodge nodded. After that, she brought the woman into the lodge alone and found Xianu. Xianu turned her gaze to the Lodge Lord. However, she only heard the female speaking, "Lady Xianu, I come from the Devil Mountain." The Lodge Lord of the Celestial Devil Lodge felt her heart pounding violently. On the Devil Mountain. Xianu naturally knew of the legends of the myriad Devil Islands. The Devil Mountain was the sacred ground of the myriad Devil Islands. "The Devil Sovereign ordered me to come and fetch you. Is Lady Xianu willing to head to the Devil Mountain?" That female spoke. In truth, this wasn't an order from Qin Wentian. It was something Mo Qingcheng and Qing told Bai Qing privately back then. After that, Bai Qing ordered them to come here. Qin Wentian didn't know of this. Why? Xianu didn't understand. "This is the Devil Sovereign's wish." That female spoke. The Lodge Lord and Xianu's hearts trembled again. They didn't dare to imagine why the Devil Sovereign would pay attention to Xianu. "I don't understand." Xianu shook her head. "The name of the Devil Sovereign is Qin Wentian." The female spoke. Xianu felt as though she was struck by lightning. She stood there in a daze, not knowing how to think. "I'm not going." Xianu turned and directly ran out. Her eyes were filled with tears. Did he really sit on the throne in the air, staring down at the world? She said before that she wasn't worthy to sit beside him. Xianu. The Lodge Lord chased after her. The female from the Devil Mountain was stunned. After that, she sighed and brought her people away. A similar scene also happened in the Blackstone Devil sect. When the third princess Yen Yurua heard that someone from the Devil Mountain personally came to fetch her, waves of shock rose in her heart. The Devil Sovereign actually sent someone to fetch her to the Devil Mountain for cultivation. When she heard the name of the Devil Sovereign, her beautiful eyes froze. After that, she giggled and agreed. If she could head to the Devil Mountain for cultivation, why wouldn't she go? In addition, that fellow was the Devil Sovereign now. This was simply like a dream. Chapter 1688. Xianu and Yen Yurua were different. To Xianu, she did have a relationship with Qin Wentian before. But that was under the situation where Qin Wentian was injured. Qin Wentian didn't realize it at that time. Even if he came to see her and wanted to bring her back, it was only because he felt guilty towards her and not because of love. In addition, she also felt inferior. Right now, Qin Wentian was truly sitting on the throne. He was the myriad Devil Sovereign. How could she have the qualifications to stand beside him? She might as well silently give him her blessings. Yen Yurua was different. She was treated as a devilish female by Qin Wentian and had a carefree personality. She once had a relationship with Qin Wentian and naturally had feelings for Qin Wentian. However, she also understood that Qin Wentian and her weren't people from the same world. Although she had feelings for him in her heart, she would hide these thoughts. Naturally, if she met Qin Wentian, so what if she teased him occasionally? Although he was already the myriad Devil Sovereign, it wasn't like she hadn't done it before in the past. She even hugged the myriad Devil Sovereign before. Letting her go to the Devil Mountain for cultivation, there might be traces of him there. In addition, there was such a good cultivation environment there. Why should she reject? Hence, between Xinu and Yen Yurua, there were two different choices. Qin Wentian had no idea about all of this. He had already returned to the Evergreen Kingdom. There seemed to be a period of peace in the immortal realms. Many peak characters in the city of ancient emperors all left the city and returned to their clans. The news of Qin Wentian's return was naturally circulated to them. Right now, everyone was quietly waiting for the storm that would ravage the immortal realms. The gathering point of this storm would be the same as 100 years ago, the Evergreen Kingdom Palace. However, would the ending be the same? With regards to this point, no one knew. Everyone had different opinions. In the northern regions, there were currently two alliances. One was formed by the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom, the 100 Refinements sect and the Jadistage sect. They were incomparably tyrannical and were defending against the invasion of the demonic races. The other alliance was formed by other Empyreans like GD and their disciples. Their strength wasn't any weaker compared to the alliance of the three peak powers of the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom. This alliance was known as the Chaotic Sky Sect. Coincidentally, the chaotic world was so chaotic, they had no choice but to form an alliance to prevent themselves from being devoured. The overall situation of the immortal realms was like this. Even for a single peak power, they didn't have absolute confidence that they would be able to stand stably in this chaotic world. In the supreme ancient immortal realms, in the lifelong realm. As for the exact location, even Palace Lord isn't sure. Su Li stared at Baiming Nongyue as he spoke. Can Qin Wentian really communicate with my elder sister through space? Baiming Nongyue asked again. There are messaging crystals in the supreme ancient immortal realms. No matter how far away they are, they would be able to communicate through their immortal sense. Su Li nodded. The Dark North Immortal Emperor nodded, thank you for your hard work. No worries. I'll bid my farewell then. Su Li clasped his hands and turned to depart, not staying any longer. Nongyue, do you think this matter is real or fake? The Dark North Immortal Emperor asked. Father, Qin Wentian wouldn't lie to us. Baiming Nongyue directly spoke. Her relationship with Qin Wentian wasn't bad. Although back then, Princess Kitamura and Qin Wentian had some conflicts in the royal palace, since Qin Wentian sent someone to relay this message, it must be real. That last Yu Huang ran away with that fellow Qin Wentian back then. A strange expression appeared on the Dark North Immortal Emperor's face. That last didn't say this before she left. Baiming Nongyue also felt strange. She blinked and smiled, since elder sister is fine, we can set our hearts at ease. I'm preparing to make a trip to the Evergreen Kingdom with Yufeng in advance. The Dark North Immortal Emperor glanced at Baiming Nongyue as he smiled and nodded, you are friends with Qin Wentian, it's only appropriate for you to make a trip there. After several days, Li Yufeng and Baiming Nongyue silently arrived at the Evergreen Kingdom Palace. Qin Wentian was naturally very happy to see his old friends visiting. Back then, he was already very fond of Li Yufeng and Baiming Nongyue. Now that he heard that they were already married, he was naturally very happy. Li Yufeng and Baiming Nongyue had a different feeling. Back then, they were characters of the same generation as Qin Wentian. In fact, from a certain perspective, their starting point was even higher. But now, they discovered that the disparity between them was like the heavens and the earth. Although Qin Wentian still treated them as friends and treated them warmly, Qin Wentian, Qing'er and Qingqing accompanied the two of them during the banquet. But when they saw the immortal emperors around them, they couldn't help but feel a sense of sorrow in their hearts. Back then, Qin Wentian was a character with extremely high potential. But in a grand battle in the immortal realms, many geniuses died. However, he actually didn't die. Now that he returned, Qin Wentian was no longer a so-called heaven's chosen. He was a character that truly stood at the peak of the immortal realms. When they arrived, they even saw a terrifying Foarok and a golden sun beast. Those were the kings of the two races. Yet, Qin Wentian directly killed his way to their doors and captured them. How imposing was this? He was truly unparalleled in the immortal realms. Even though Li Yufeng's talent was unparalleled, in front of Qin Wentian, he had no temper at all. After the banquet, through Qin Wentian's words, Baiming Nongyue and Princess Kitamura conversed. Qin Wentian gave the two of them some cultivation resources, saying that this was something Baiming Nongyue wanted to give to her younger sister. Baiming Nongyue couldn't possibly reject it, right? He naturally gave some messaging crystals to them. After that, the two of them left in a low-profile manner. After all, Qin Wentian had too many enemies in the immortal realms now. Before everything ends, Qin Wentian didn't want to implicate them. The time left until the appointed date with Qin Wentian was about to arrive. In the originally desolate royal capital of the Evergreen Kingdom, it was unknown how many experts were gathered here. They rushed over from all directions, preparing to witness the grand event of the immortal realms. After 200 years, a world-shaking battle was about to occur again. They naturally couldn't miss it. Naturally, those with weaker strength wouldn't dare to come. They wouldn't be able to endure the aftershocks of the battle. For those who came, the weakest among them was at least at the Immortal Foundation realm. Even during the golden age of the immortal realms, the royal capital had never been so lively before. In the inns, it was unknown how many people were discussing the major events of the immortal realms. Qin Wentian has returned and invited all the hegemonic powers of the immortal realms to gather. Seems like he's extremely confident and wants revenge. Yeah, Qin Wentian was already a supreme genius back then, slaying immortal emperors as an immortal king. Now that he's now at the peak stage of immortal kings, who can contend against him? Old Devil Duo Tian and the others even wanted to probe him and were directly hunted down by him. The kings of the Foarok race and Sun Gold Demon race were all so powerful, yet they were directly captured into the Evergreen Kingdom Palace and tortured miserably. From my point of view, Qin Wentian most probably will become a king of the immortal realms, becoming an ancient emperor character. What nonsense! Someone coldly spoke. Qin Wentian is too arrogant, actually inviting all the hegemonic powers of the immortal realms. Even if he has the help of the Namhuang clan and GD, how can he contend against the entire immortal realms? Don't forget that even for those peak powers who have no grudges with Qin Wentian, they wouldn't allow Qin Wentian to dominate the immortal realms. That's right. Qin Wentian wants to unify the Azure Mystic immortal realms, allowing his subordinates to control the immortal realms. Wouldn't the others have to submit to him? Many people agreed. Such voices rang out in the royal capital of the Evergreen Kingdom, saying that Qin Wentian wanted to dominate the immortal realms. Clearly, there were people who intentionally spread this news, wanting those powers who were on the fence to act against Qin Wentian. After all, right now in the royal capital of the Evergreen Kingdom, the juniors of the major powers of the immortal realms have already arrived. Naturally, one couldn't help but to say that their guesses weren't wrong. All of this was a competition in the dark. In addition, many people didn't feel that Qin Wentian truly had the ability to dominate the immortal realms. Although his performance was extremely powerful, one mustn't forget that there was still a major power like the immortal Qianbian Gate in the immortal realms. Also, there were rumors that the Senluo Immortal Empire had existences that surpassed the Immortal Emperor realm. Back then, it was precisely because of this that Qin Wentian took the initiative to submit. Amidst all sorts of guesses and discussions, the appointed date finally arrived. Today, the entire world was paying attention to it. Chapter 1689. In the royal capital of the Evergreen Kingdom. Today, the sky was covered by a layer of dark clouds, exuding an oppressive aura. The royal palace has already been rebuilt. It stood in the center of the royal capital, as though it was isolated from the world. With the royal palace as the center, it was unknown how many experts have arrived. With a single glance, countless experts could be seen. Regardless of whether they were on the ground or in the air, or even above the clouds, all of them were Immortal Foundation experts, Wuxia. Today was destined to be an extraordinary day. Today, the entire Immortal Realms would tremble. The structure of the Immortal Realms would be redefined. Someone said that Qin Wentian would suppress all the major powers in the Immortal Realms, becoming the hegemon of the world, unifying Azure Mystic and reproducing the glory of the ancient emperors. However, there were also people who said that the Immortal Qianbian Gate today was just a decoration. Another voice said that the Senluo Immortal Empire clearly knew that Qin Wentian was incomparably domineering, yet they still told Qin Wentian to scram and submit. What confidence did they have? It was said that when Qin Wentian invited the major powers of the Immortal Realms to gather in the Evergreen Kingdom, the Senluo Immortal Empire didn't panic at all. Everything was done in an orderly manner. This was news that the vast majority of people knew about. There was also another piece of news. It was rumored that there were people from the upper world who came to the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms. Qin Wentian was none other than someone from the upper world. These people who came from the upper world were all incomparably powerful. In fact, many peak powers in Azure Mystic were merely the inheritances they left behind in the lower world. Some people said that the Ying clan that was destroyed by the Namhuang clan and Qin Wentian belonged to this category. Also, right now, experts from the Ying clan from the upper world have already arrived, preparing to take revenge today. They wanted to raise the Evergreen Kingdom Palace to flat ground, turning this majestic palace into history. There were even more arrogant voices saying that today, all the major powers in the Immortal Realms would gather here. However, it wasn't because they were afraid of Qin Wentian, nor was it because they wanted to deal with Qin Wentian. Their purpose was to take this opportunity to gather together with the major powers of the Immortal Realms and contend for hegemony. What other time was more suitable than this? Such an opportunity was created for them by Qin Wentian. They knew how to seize it. In the royal palace of the Evergreen Immortal Empire, Qin Wentian stood there with his hands clasped behind his back, casually standing there. His white robes fluttered in the wind and his eyes were as deep as the starry skies, as resplendent as the constellations. The white-haired killing goddess, Evergreen Qing, had a gentle look on her face as she quietly stood beside Qin Wentian. Not far away, Mo Qingqing sat together with the Zhuran sisters, quietly watching Qin Wentian's silhouette. Wentian, the various powers are already rushing over here. At this moment, Princess Chongping came over and reported. Got it, Aunt. Qin Wentian smiled as he called out, directly addressing her as Aunt. Princess Chongping smiled and nodded. The white-robed young man exuded an unparalleled magnificence. Back then, even that battle couldn't claim his life, let alone today. Not far away, numerous figures could be seen walking over, all of them arriving at Qin Wentian's side. Chongqing the Great, G.D., Emperor Yu, the Southern Phoenix Matriarch, and the immortal emperors of the Battle Saint tribe. Their auras were all solemn, ready for battle at any moment. And now, these hegemonic characters whose names shook the entire Immortal Realms all treated Qin Wentian as their leader. But even so, they still felt a pressure as heavy as a mountain. This battle was destined to not be easy. Seniors, there's no need to be so nervous. After this battle, no one would dare to offend our empire anymore. Qin Wentian smiled. His voice contained a hint of confidence, a confidence that towered up into the heavens. Everyone nodded, they didn't say anything more. They quietly walked to the side of Qin Wentian. The young man from before had unknowingly become their strongest and most resolute arm. He stood there, exuding the strength of his character. White-robed elegance, what can the world do to me? All of a sudden, a commotion rang out from afar. Someone exclaimed in shock, the Senluo Immortal Empire has arrived. This voice swiftly rang out, causing countless gazes to turn to the west. Over there, a group of experts could be seen riding on carriages. Many of them were immortal kings and emperors. It was unknown how terrifying their auras were. There was only a single carriage, but because this carriage was simply too large, there were 8 true dragons pulling it. How majestic was this scene! Hence, from the perspective of everyone, the people of the Sanluo Immortal Empire seemed to be riding on a carriage. However, there was only a single person sitting on the carriage, and this person wasn't the Sanluo Emperor. Because, the Sanluo Emperor, the supreme ruler of the Sanluo Immortal Empire, was currently standing at the side. In that case, what status did the person in the carriage have? How powerful would he be? Qin Wentian's expression was incomparably calm when he saw this scene. Although he already knew the answer, he was still as calm as ever. As the news that the person in the carriage was the Sanluo Immortal Emperor circulated out, a huge commotion broke out in the crowd. Countless people were shocked. This was definitely a shocking piece of news, sufficient to cause the entire immortal realms to tremble. Could it be that this was the reason why the Sanluo Immortal Empire wanted Qin Wentian to go there to apologize and submit? Back then, even that didn't kill you. Your life is truly tough. But this time around, you won't be able to escape even if you grow wings. The Sanluo Immortal Emperor coldly spoke. The supreme crown prince of the Sanluo Immortal Empire was killed by Qin Wentian. How could he forget this grudge? Initially, he thought that Qin Wentian was already dead and his revenge was over. But he didn't expect that not only did Qin Wentian not die, he even came back to take revenge in less than 200 years. Your life won't be as tough as mine. Hence, you will die today. Qin Wentian calmly spoke as he stared at the Sanluo Immortal Emperor. It was like a single glance was enough to determine the fate of the Sanluo Immortal Emperor, causing the hearts of many to tremble. Where did Qin Wentian's confidence originate from? Another group of experts flew over, each of them from a different faction. There were a total of 3 factions, and their auras were so strong that they could crush the heavens and earth. This was especially so for one of the factions. The people from one of the factions seemed to be bathed in the sun, their bodies burning with flames. Everywhere they passed by, the air would sizzle from the heat. These people were none other than the people from the Sacred Sun sect. The sect leader of the Sacred Sun sect had personally arrived. Although the other 2 groups didn't directly release their auras, the formless pressure they exuded caused the crowd to feel a stifling pressure. The Shooting Sun Kingdom and the Thunder God Hall arrived together. These people who arrived earlier were all from the major powers of the central regions of the immortal realms. Brother Qin, it has been many years since we last met. You are even more radiant than before. I'm truly impressed. A voice filled with respect drifted over. After that, another group of experts arrived. There weren't many of them, but all of them were elites. They were from the Jiang clan of the southern regions. And the person who spoke was none other than Jiang Zihua of the Jiang clan. Back then, he was also a peak-level genius of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Qin Wentian glanced at Jiang Zihua and didn't say anything. He didn't like the 2 brothers, Jiang Zihua and Jiang Ziyu. Right now, he couldn't even be bothered to feign civility. The Snowdrift Sacred Sect, Nibble Sky Sacred Sect, Wenxin Temple have all arrived. More and more major powers arrived. Qin Wentian turned his gaze in the direction of Wenxin Temple. He bowed to the person in the lead. Qin Wentian pays his respects to the Reverend. This Reverend was none other than the Reverend from Wenxin Temple who had helped Qin Wentian before. He pressed his palms together and faced Qin Wentian. Benefactor Qin, there's no need to be so polite. The major powers of the northern regions have arrived. Chapter 1690. Qin Wentian stared at the air as he coldly spoke. Which bastard dares to speak in front of me? The aura in the air was violent to the extreme. No demons replied. Numerous demonic beasts descended from the sky, each of them belonging to a different faction. These demonic races all exuded a stifling pressure. Naturally, there were also demonic beasts that were pleasing to the eye. For example, the nine-tailed fox race. Their bodies were clad in white and were incomparably beautiful. This was especially so for the fox goddess. Her aura was so dazzling that no demons could compare to her. Wuxia race, Sun Gold Demon race. Seems like you guys didn't take my words back then to heart. Qin Wentian coldly spoke. Even now, little rascal still hasn't appeared. The greater demons of the Wuxia race and Sun Gold Demon race walked out. Terrifying auras bore down from the sky, enveloping the entire Evergreen Kingdom palace. The majestic royal palace at this moment seemed extremely tiny and inconsequential. In the face of so many experts from the immortal realms, it was as though it could be destroyed at any moment. Release the king of my race. A peak-stage demon emperor from the Wuxia race coldly spoke. His wings blotted out the sun, resembling the clouds in the sky. His eyes shone with golden flames, terrifying to the extreme. Qin Wentian's eyes were cold as he spoke. Since this is the case, make your move then. Yes, Palace Lord. As the sound of Qin Wentian's voice faded, a group of immortal emperors in the royal palace flickered and appeared before the two demonic beasts with weak auras. Their divine weapons glowed with resplendent light as they directly attacked the two demonic kings, plucking their feathers, pulling out their tendons, breaking their wings. In an instant, the two supreme greater demons screamed in agony. Even though they were heavily injured, they couldn't endure such a hellish torture. In the air, the demonic beasts from the Wuxia race and Sun Gold Demon race roared in rage as they swooped down, wanting to launch an attack. However, at this moment, within the Evergreen Kingdom, an army of immortal emperors soared up into the air, exuding a fearsome aura, causing the experts from the two supreme demon races to halt their movements. They circled in the air while howling in rage. What are you waiting for? The experts from the two races stared at the experts from the other demonic races. However, other than some demonic races that had enmity with Qin Wentian, many other demonic races decided to watch from the sidelines and didn't have any intentions to act. There was also intense competition between the demonic races. The Wuxia race and the Sun Gold Demon race were both peak-level demonic races. They were usually incomparably arrogant and tyrannical. It would naturally be good if they could weaken their strength. In addition, now that so many experts from the immortal realms were gathered here, it wasn't only the demons here. If they rushed out to fight against Qin Wentian, wouldn't that be giving those characters from the immortal realms, Wuxia, an advantage? These greater demons who had cultivated to the peak of their cultivation wouldn't easily start a fight. The two demon kings of the Wuxia race and Sun Gold Demon race were actually skinned alive by Qin Wentian right in front of the experts of the immortal realms. Such a scene was simply too horrifying. Countless gazes turned to that white-robed figure. How domineering was his return today? Most probably, he even dared to cause the sun and moon to change. He was the Lord of the Heavens. Screams of misery rang out. The two demon kings were brutally killed. This caused all the experts who came here to feel an indescribable sense of trepidation in their hearts. Today, they definitely couldn't act rashly. The power structure of the immortal realms was about to change. Most probably, rivers of blood would flow in the royal capital of the Evergreen Kingdom. Start a fire. The two demon kings would surely be extremely nourishing. Qin Wentian spoke. Experts proficient in fire started to roast the meat. The flames were extremely terrifying. These were the flames of peak-stage immortal emperors. It wasn't a problem for them to roast two peak-stage greater demons. Upon seeing this scene, the Wuxia race and Sun Gold Demon race almost went berserk, disregarding everything and rushing down to fight. However, they were stopped by the two supreme greater demons. These two supreme greater demons were the new demon kings. They knew that they had to remain calm at this moment. Most probably, many people were waiting for them to probe the strength of Qin Wentian and the Evergreen Kingdom. If they fought now, they would only be cannon fodder. Qin Wentian killed his way into their nest alone. From this, one could very well imagine how terrifying his strength was. Roar! An expert from the White Tiger people roared as his eyes spewed fire. Back then in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, many of the greater demons of the White Tiger people also encountered such a situation. They were all roasted on the fire before being eaten by Qin Wentian and the Namhuang clan. Such humiliation, they would never forget it. Right now, Qin Wentian was roasting the demon kings of the Foarok race and Sun Gold demon race. The fragrance of meat permeated the air, refreshing the hearts of everyone. It was simply too wondrous. Qin Wentian gave the order to start eating. The immortal emperors naturally wouldn't be polite. These were peak-stage greater demons, the demon kings of the two races. Their meat was countless times more valuable compared to miraculous pills and medicines. How could they be polite? At this moment, another group of figures descended. This group of people was extremely terrifying. There was an army of immortal emperors with shocking strength. The people standing at the front were all peak-stage immortal emperors and exuded a fearsome might. Qin Wentian glanced over there. After that, his gaze landed on one of them. It was none other than the Emperor of Qinbian. This group of experts was none other than the immortal Qinbian Gate. The Emperor of Qinbian naturally also saw Qin Wentian. He sighed in his heart. He didn't expect that Qin Wentian actually didn't die. He had watched Qin Wentian grow up, but now, Qin Wentian seemed to be walking on the opposite side of the immortal Qinbian Gate. This was something he didn't want to see. However, what could he do? Wentian. The Emperor of Qinbian called out. Emperor Lord, who is the one in charge of the immortal Qinbian Gate now? Qin Wentian asked. The Emperor of Qinbian felt bitterness in his heart. He glanced at the people before him and Qin Wentian instantly understood. Although the Emperor of Qinbian was still in the immortal Qinbian Gate, the current immortal Qinbian Gate was no longer the immortal Qinbian Gate of the past. It was completely controlled by the heavenly talisman realm. Qin Wentian, why are you not returning to your sect yet? A person at the front of the immortal Qinbian Gate spoke. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. He naturally understood what the other party meant. Over 100 years ago, Qin Wentian has already died once. Everything in the past has long been severed. From now on, we have nothing to do with each other. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. The things the heavenly talisman realm did made him choose to sever all ties with them. However, he also didn't wish to form a grudge with them. After all, he was once a disciple of the heavenly talisman realm and had received much help from them. Unless there was no other choice, he didn't want to start a war with them. Ridiculous. How can the sect be a place you can enter and leave whenever you want? Don't forget the rules of the sect. The other party coldly laughed. Bring the traitors here. As the sound of his voice faded, someone took out a treasure. It was actually a spatial-type treasure that transformed into a prison. Terrifying chains could be seen within, locking 3 silhouettes within. Upon seeing the 3 silhouettes, Qin Wentian's countenance instantly turned incredibly unsightly to behold. A terrifying coldness radiated from him, gradually transforming into killing intent. Senior brother. A voice called out. Qin Wentian stared at the person who spoke. His long hair was in a mess, his robes were tattered and there were traces of blood on him. It was almost impossible to recognize that this person was none other than the young genius Jun Mengchen. The Monarch Descent Immortal Emperor. Someone exclaimed in shock. The Monarch Descent Immortal Emperor betrayed the immortal Qinbian Gate and was actually captured. This immortal Qinbian Gate was simply too terrifying. Mengchen. Qin Wentian turned his gaze over. He stepped out as his killing intent soared up into the sky. Over there, not only was Jun Mengchen there, he was acquainted with the other two as well. One of them was the white-robed immortal king by Wuya who once accepted him into the sect. Right now, he was in a sorry state. As for the last person, Qin Wentian had met him before. That old man with an extraordinary demeanor was none other than the senior brother who accepted Jun Mengchen. Wentian, don't act recklessly. When Qin Wentian stepped out, he heard Bai Wuya's voice transmission. Only to see Bai Wuya inclined his head, his eyes were no longer as radiant as before. He transmitted his voice back, an immortal emperor character from the heavenly talisman realm descended here. It is precisely because of this that Jun Mengchen was captured. Qin Wentian's steps faltered, the coldness radiating from him didn't vanish at all. In fact, it was even colder than before. As expected, the heavenly talisman realm from the upper world interfered in the matters of the lower world. This was also within his expectations. The great changes in the immortal realms, they initially wanted to make use of the heavenly talisman realm from the lower world to unify Azure Mystic. However, the heavenly talisman realm clearly didn't expect that the seal on Azure Mystic would slacken, affecting their plans. But since they had been preparing for so many years, they naturally wouldn't give up on the idea of unifying Azure Mystic. Mengchen, senior brother Bai, I've caused you two to suffer. Qin Wentian felt some guilt in his heart. Jun Mengchen betrayed the heavenly talisman realm because of him. Most probably, Bai Wuya also fell to such a state because of him. If not, even if Bai Wuya was unhappy with the actions of the heavenly talisman realm, he would have chosen to keep a low profile and wouldn't have ended up as a prisoner. In the camp of the Immortal Qianbian Gate, there were some people who had interacted with Qin Wentian before. Back then, they had participated in the battle between the Immortal Qianbian Gate and the Dongshengshan Gate. An example was Tuoba Saint Sky. When they saw the current situation, they could only sigh in their hearts. However, they had no other choice. They could only follow the orders of their sect and unify the world. Senior brother. Jun Mengchen clenched his fists tightly as his eyes turned bloodshot. His senior brother Qin actually didn't die. He should be happy, but today, his senior brother was most probably going to face another calamity. He also knew that a character above the Immortal Emperor realm had appeared in the Heavenly Talisman realm. After that, the Immortal Qianbian Gate instantly became even more domineering, capturing him. After that, they also captured his senior brother, Bai Wuya. In the past, he was only placed under house arrest, but now, he was directly imprisoned. Among the many disciples, there was also an old friend of Qin Wentian, Zi Qingxian. Her beautiful eyes flashed with sadness as she clenched her fists tightly. Back then, she fought side by side with Qin Wentian and Jun Mengchen, and the three of them had an extremely good relationship. But today, Jun Mengchen became a prisoner and the sect also wanted to deal with Qin Wentian. She was powerless to change everything. Don't worry, everything will be fine. Qin Wentian smiled at Jun Mengchen. After that, his eyes turned cold as he stared at the experts of the Immortal Qianbian Gate. Qin Wentian, if you are willing to kneel down and apologize and choose to submit to our sect, swearing that you will never betray us again, our sect can forgive all your mistakes. That expert from the Heavenly Talisman realm stared at Qin Wentian as he spoke. However, Qin Wentian merely laughed coldly as he stared at him. His gaze was like he was looking at a dead man. He returned to the direction of the Evergreen Kingdom, no longer glancing at Jun Mengchen and the others. His eyes swept over to the experts of the Immortal Realms as he spoke, "Is everyone here?" Chapter 1691. As the sound of Qin Wentian's voice faded, the immortal emperors behind him all had solemn expressions on their faces. The experts of the immortal realms were all gathered in the Evergreen Kingdom Palace. When has there ever been such a grand occasion in the immortal realms? At the very least, the people who came here today have never seen it before. Countless gazes and immortal senses were gathered here. What qualifications does Qin Wentian have to contend against the entire immortal realms? Qin Wentian, you didn't die in the battle back then. But today, I will definitely destroy your soul. A cold voice rang out. The tone of the Sanluo Immortal Emperor was extremely cold, his killing intent surging. Qin Wentian didn't even glance at him. He calmly spoke, "The Azure Mystic Immortal Realms are undergoing a huge change. Right now, there are many experts from the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms coming to Azure Mystic. I'm sure there are people from Azure Mystic among all of you. Today, I've gathered everyone here because my purpose is to elect a new ruler of the Immortal Realms. Since ancient times, there were ancient emperors who wanted to unify the Immortal Realms. Today, the time is ripe." Qin Wentian's voice rumbled out in all directions, causing the hearts of countless people to tremble. Today, would the glory of the ancient emperor era return to the Immortal Realms? Ha ha ha, Qin Wentian, you actually want to unify the Immortal Realms? Just based on the strength of you and these people behind you? Pei Qin laughed uproariously. He stared at Qin Wentian with coldness in his eyes. He felt some jealousy towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian was just a junior back then, but now, Qin Wentian had already surpassed him, standing above him. Your words are exactly what I wanted. As expected of a disciple of my sect. Azure Mystic does indeed need to be unified. In the direction of the immortal Qianbian Gate, several people in the lead coldly spoke. Clearly, they also wanted to use this opportunity to unify the Immortal Realms and become the new ruler of Azure Mystic. I agree. Azure Mystic is too chaotic, it's about time for it to be unified. At this moment, a calm voice rang out from the true dragon of the Sanluo Immortal Empire, agreeing with Qin Wentian's words. Clearly, he had the same ambition. We'll talk about the unification of Qin Xian later. Let's kill Qin Wentian first, then we'll discuss this matter. Someone coldly spoke. This person was none other than the sect leader of the Sacred Sun sect. He anxiously wanted Qin Wentian's life. This young man mustn't be left alive, he had to kill him. If not, their Sacred Sun sect would be in danger. The Yin clan and the 9 emperors' immortal state were a good example. Kill Qin Wentian first. The experts from the White Tiger people also spoke. They all wanted Qin Wentian to die. As for the unification of Azure Mystic, they could already sense the abnormality of the current Immortal Realms. Most probably, there would be characters above the Immortal Emperor realm appearing, and there would definitely be more than one of them. If there were truly supreme characters descending to Azure Mystic, wanting to unify the Immortal Realms, they wouldn't stubbornly resist. Anyone who stood in their way would die. But it couldn't be, because if Qin Wentian became king, all his enemies would die. Since this is the case, it's indeed time to settle the debts of the past. Qin Wentian spoke. He turned his gaze to the experts in the air as he coldly spoke. Back then, the Sanluo Immortal Empire, Sacred Sun sect, Fuarok race, Heavenhold race, Void Beast race, and the White Tiger people also participated in the siege against the Evergreen Kingdom. Today, I'm going to settle the score with them. The other powers have nothing to do with me. Naturally, if there's anyone who wants to interfere and become my enemy, I'm more than happy to oblige. Qin Wentian, your actions are unbridled and have already violated the taboos of the demon race. All the demons of the desolate mountains will kill you. The new leader of the Fuarok race coldly spoke. You gathered the people of the Immortal Realms and formed an alliance with many powers. There's the Evergreen Kingdom, Namhuang Clan, GD, Emperor Yu, and many of your subordinates. Right now, you want to eliminate a group of enemies first before dealing with the others in the Immortal Realms? Pei Qin coldly laughed. Right now, Qin Wentian's forces were already extremely terrifying. He mustn't allow them to be defeated one by one. Pei Qin, I haven't mentioned you yet. Are you in such a hurry to die? Qin Wentian stared at Pei Qin. With a single glance, Pei Qin only felt as though he had fallen into a true illusionary space. There was no one in the surroundings, only he stood there alone as Qin Wentian's silhouette appeared before him. Illusion domain, you dare to act against me? Pei Qin's expression changed as he called out, wanting to beg for help. Right now, he truly didn't have any confidence in front of Qin Wentian. Back then in the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom, weren't you very arrogant in front of me? Since you want to die so badly today, I'll grant you your wish. Qin Wentian coldly spoke. At this moment, Pei Qin only felt his entire body turning cold. His aura erupted forth but a formless pressure bore down on him. A terrifying palm imprint directly descended from the sky, he had no way to block it at all. Impudent. Pei Qin's master stepped out, exuding a terrifying aura. The experts from the Chaotic Sky sect all radiated coldness as they spoke. Qin Wentian, don't be impudent. Qin Wentian, my Chaotic Sky sect is now one of the strongest powers in the immortal realms. I truly want to see how strong your alliance is. Do you really want to stand against so many peak powers in the immortal realms? Pei Qin coldly stared at Qin Wentian as he spoke. Chaotic Sky Sect. A look of disdain appeared on Qin Wentian's face. If you want to take revenge for you, feel free to do so. As the sound of his voice faded, his palm trembled. Pei Qin only felt a sense of suffocation, his entire body was about to be crushed. He screamed in agony as he roared, "You dare!" Boom! With a thunderous boom, Qin Wentian's body directly disintegrated, turning into dust that dissipated into the air. The experts from the Chaotic Sky sect all stared at Qin Wentian. Pei Qin's master's eyes flashed with an intense killing intent. Naturally, there was also trepidation in his eyes. How powerful was Pei Qin now? Yet in front of Qin Wentian, he couldn't even withstand a single strike and was directly killed by Qin Wentian. When they thought of Qin Wentian's illustrious battle achievements in the immortal realms, they all felt a chill in their hearts. They didn't dare to act recklessly. Since all of you want to die so badly, I'll grant you your wish. Qin Wentian spoke. Destroy the Sacred Sun sect first. Yes, Palace Lord. A group of experts soared into the air. An army of immortal emperors, how terrifying was that? The people from the Sacred Sun sect roared in rage, why are you guys not acting yet? Earlier, the major powers named by Qin Wentian, the White Tiger people, Foarok race, Heavenhold race, Void Beast race all unleashed their auras. Even the Sun Gold Demon race was prepared to act. He stared at the greater demons and spoke, Qin Wentian's humiliation of my tribe's king is a lesson to be learned from. Don't you all want to kill him? Many demons fell silent. Qin Wentian was too domineering. Although they couldn't bear to see how Qin Wentian humiliated the king of the Foarok race and Sun Gold Demon race, they still had trepidation in their hearts. If Qin Wentian was weak, they wouldn't hesitate to kill him. But since Qin Wentian was strong, they had no choice but to be cautious. In the direction of the Sacred Sun sect, the experts from the Sacred Sun sect all radiated terrifying sunfire with the sect leader at the center. It was like they were in a formation as a terrifying sun manifested, shooting out beams of sunlight that shot towards the immortal emperors below. Each beam of sunlight contained immense power. There was a crown on the head of the Sacred Sun sect leader. This was a supremely powerful emperor-ranked weapon. The sun was formed precisely from the crown. However, Qin Wentian's subordinates were all monarch-level governors. How could they not have emperor-ranked weapons in their hands? Resplendent light flashed as a terrifying coldness corroded the sunlight. A fog appeared in the air as a group of immortal emperors killed their way towards the Sacred Sun sect. At the same time, there were also experts from the Foarok race, Sun Gold Demon race, Void Beast race and the White Tiger people. The battle instantly erupted, causing the sky to change color as the tremors shook unceasingly. The other major powers all watched from the sidelines, not interfering in this battle. Only now did countless people realize that the situation today wouldn't repeat itself. Qin Wentian gathered all the peak powers of the immortal realms, but these peak powers wouldn't really join forces to kill Qin Wentian. Because, things were no longer the same as before. The encirclement back then was because the various peak powers had the absolute advantage. But today, the Ying clan, the 9 emperors' immortal state, old devil Duo Tian and the others have already been annihilated. Who would dare to interfere now? Could it be because Qin Wentian had the strength to threaten the entire azure mystic immortal realms? Didn't the immortal Qianbian Gate have the strength to do so? Even if they could kill Qin Wentian, wouldn't they be helping the immortal Qianbian Gate instead? Right now, many people were waiting. They knew that the true battle has yet to begin and most probably, only a minority of people would be able to participate in it. Qin Wentian didn't participate in the battle. The Immortal Emperor Army of the Li-Fire Palace, the Namhuang clan, the Evergreen Kingdom, GD, Emperor Yu, and the Immortal Emperors of the Battle Saint tribe were all extremely powerful. They were more than enough to deal with several peak powers at the same time. His gaze landed on the dragon carriage of the Sanluo Immortal Empire. With a swishing sound, the dragon carriage was torn apart as an incomparably tyrannical figure appeared. His eyes opened as a resplendent light shot out, radiating a boundless might that enveloped this entire space. The sky changed color as a hellish dimension appeared in the air. The terrifying might radiating from it caused even immortal emperors to tremble. Countless people turned their gazes in the direction of the Sanluo Immortal Empire, staring at the expert who appeared as waves of shock rose in their hearts. Although they had already guessed it, when they truly saw such a character appearing, they still felt their hearts trembling. At this moment, many experts from the Sanluo Immortal Empire knelt on one knee, incomparably respectful. Even immortal emperors were kneeling in submission. This scene was simply too shocking. The Sanluo Immortal Emperor stared at Qin Wentian as he coldly spoke, "Envoys from the upper world of my Sanluo Immortal Palace have arrived. You actually dare to dream of destroying my Sanluo Immortal Empire? I've said it before, today shall be the day of your death. Envoys from the upper world." Everyone sighed. Things were really like what Qin Wentian said. Now that there was an envoys from the upper world descending from the azure mystic immortal realms, this person should have already surpassed the immortal emperor realm. Qin Wentian, what a pity. Would he still not be able to escape death today? I've given you a chance to submit to me. Since you want to die, this seat shall grant you your wish. That Empyrean from the Sanluo Immortal Empire spoke. The light from hell bore down on Qin Wentian, like the might of the apocalypse. Countless gazes turned to Qin Wentian as their expressions all changed. This was especially so for Qin Wentian's friends and family. Their countenances turned even paler. That supreme character still wouldn't be able to escape death today. Chongqing the Great, GD and the others all stared over nervously, terror could be seen in their eyes. This scene was too terrifying. The light from the true apocalypse of hell descended upon Qin Wentian, wanting to engulf him. Chapter 1692. At the Ancient Emperor Realm. The hearts of countless people trembled as they stared at the apocalyptic scene of destruction. The emperors from the Foarok race, Sun Gold Demon race and Sacred Sun sect all had malevolent smiles on their faces. So what if Qin Wentian has returned? In the end, he would still die. After his death, everyone in the Evergreen Kingdom would definitely regret living in this world. Many experts from the Sanluo Immortal Empire knelt on the ground, their eyes filled with reverence. As expected of an envoy from the upper world. How could Qin Wentian survive? At this moment, the gazes of countless people were all focused on the location where Qin Wentian was at. They only saw that Qin Wentian's body suddenly glowed with an incomparably resplendent light. He was like a divinity, and when that hell descended, the light pierced into it, devouring the energy of the hell bit by bit, causing it to dissipate unceasingly. The light grew stronger and stronger, so blinding that people couldn't open their eyes. They didn't dare to look directly at it. Countless people stretched out their hands to cover their eyes. Between heaven and earth, the power of the great light seemed to illuminate the world. Finally, that hell disappeared, dissipating under the light, turning into dust. Qin Wentian still stood there. He was clad in white, exuding magnificence through the generations. His black hair fluttered in the wind, but from the start until now, he didn't move at all. At this moment, the faces of many turned ashen. They finally realized something. The void was silent. In this vast and boundless space, countless powerful beings seemed to have come to a realization at this moment. This was an extremely shocking truth. The Qin Wentian who returned this time wasn't at the peak stage of the Immortal Emperor realm. His cultivation base was above the Immortal Emperor realm. What did it mean to be above the Immortal Emperor realm? The Ancient Emperor realm. He wasn't someone from the upper world. He was an ancient emperor that appeared in Azure Mystic. From a junior, he surpassed countless heaven-chosen and experts of the older generations, stepping into that unknown realm and returning. As to why many people didn't dare to think in this direction, it was because the time was too short. It hasn't even been 200 years since the time Qin Wentian was killed. 200 years, who would dare to believe that someone above the Immortal Emperor realm? It was like a dream, completely unreal. But the truth was right before their eyes. The ancient emperor of the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms was born, Qin Wentian. The evergreen Immortal Emperor, Matriarch Ji, and the others all laughed, the tension in their hearts dissipated. There was only shock in their hearts. So this was the case. Qin Wentian was much stronger than what they had imagined, he had walked even further than they had imagined. The eyes of the experts from the Heavenly Talisman realm narrowed as they stared at Qin Wentian. They didn't expect that Qin Wentian had actually stepped into that realm. He had truly concealed himself well. Jun Mingchen, Bai Wuya, and the others' gloomy eyes lit up. To Jun Mingchen, his senior brother, who had created miracles, had returned. He himself was a legend. To Bai Wuya, he was very proud of Qin Wentian. This was a talent he discovered, and right now, Qin Wentian was already incomparably dazzling, walking at the forefront of his generation. The Thousand Transformations Emperor Lord also sighed with emotions in his heart. What did it mean to be peerless? Qin Wentian was able to vividly explain the meaning of this word. He suppressed an entire era, no one could be mentioned in the same breath as him. The expression of that envoy from the Sanluo Immortal Empire froze. He stared at Qin Wentian and spoke, "No wonder you dare to be so impudent. So it turns out that you have also stepped into the Empyrean realm. The matters of Azure Mystic will naturally be resolved by my Azure Mystic. I don't care who you are, if you scram now, I can let bygones be bygones. You can do whatever you want to do, but don't interfere in the matters of my Azure Mystic Immortal Realms." Qin Wentian stared at the envoy as he spoke tyrannically. Ha ha ha. That envoy laughed uproariously. What arrogant words. Could it be that you want to represent Azure Mystic? Now that the ban has been relaxed, countless experts will enter Azure Mystic. Do you want to represent the entire Azure Mystic? In addition, I heard that you died once over 100 years ago. Seems like you had some good fortune and profited from a disaster, achieving your current accomplishments. But most probably, it hasn't been too long since you stepped into this realm. As for me, I've already stepped into the Empyrean realm a few thousand years ago. You want me to scram? Are you even qualified to do so? That envoy laughed maniacally. Purgatory once again appeared in the sky. Upon hearing his words, the eyes of many flashed. The words of this envoy were logical. After all, he was someone from the upper world and was definitely an extremely powerful character. No matter how fast Qin Wentian's cultivation speed was, he shouldn't have stepped into the Empyrean realm for too long. How could Qin Wentian fight against him? Right now, the situation was still very uncertain. Using time to judge strength before me? How ridiculous. I'll only ask you one last time. Are you going to scram or not? Just when everyone was guessing the difference in strength between the two of them, Qin Wentian spoke again. How tyrannical was this? However, no one could refute him. Indeed, in front of Qin Wentian, who would use time to compare strength? How many years has he cultivated for? How many years has it been since he was at the Immortal King realm? What a madman, not knowing the immensity of the heavens and earth. The eyes of the envoy flashed with rage. He stared at Qin Wentian, and in an instant, purgatory manifested around Qin Wentian, enveloping him within. Boundless lava and fire appeared, gushing towards Qin Wentian. For Empyreans, their law intents were like heavenly might, able to form laws with a single thought. How powerful were they? In the air, boundless energy from purgatory bore down, wanting to bury Qin Wentian within. However, a terrifying spatial energy manifested around Qin Wentian. Spatial blades slashed out, directly cleaving apart the void. Qin Wentian stepped out, directly exiting the purgatory, exuding an incomparable carefreeness. I don't know the immensity of the heavens and earth? Qin Wentian laughed in disdain. Boundless spatial light appeared in the sky, lacerating the void and instantly enveloping the envoy from the Sanluo Immortal Empire. Slash! With an intention of his will, Qin Wentian's spatial energy transformed into terrifying spatial blades that slashed towards the envoy. The expression of the envoy froze. A fearsome layer of stone armor appeared around him, impenetrable. Thunderous rumbling sounds rang out unceasingly, the stone armor turned crimson red. Ear-piercing sounds rang out unceasingly as the stone armor crumbled apart unceasingly. He stretched out both his hands, and in an instant, the laws of heaven and earth went berserk. Numerous blazing diamond-like stones appeared, floating in the air, resembling a myriad of floating islands. Kill! With a clench of his hand, the floating islands shot towards Qin Wentian like shooting stars, wanting to bury Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's body transformed into a beam of light as he vanished. With a thunderous boom, the blazing stones collided with each other. Qin Wentian's silhouette vanished completely, directly appearing before the envoy from the Sanluo Immortal Empire. Resplendent beams of light and sharp swords shot out, resembling a torrential river that flowed unceasingly. The emperors from the Sanluo Immortal Empire all retreated madly. The space where the two of them fought transformed into a vacuum zone, nobody dared to get close. The demonic dragons pulling the carriage were directly torn apart by the shock waves, transforming into a rain of blood. Courting death. The envoy from the Sanluo Immortal Empire roared, the surrounding space trembled violently as though it was about to shatter. His fist shone with an incomparably terrifying light as rumbling sounds rang out unceasingly. When he saw Qin Wentian appearing, he directly punched out. A terrifying innate technique erupted forth, creating a blood-colored space akin to hell. Boundless meteors shot out, penetrating through everything. At such a close distance, there was basically no way for Qin Wentian to dodge. The innate techniques of Empyreans were infused with the power of their law wills. How terrifying would that be? Naturally, Qin Wentian didn't even think of dodging. An ancient Buddha law body appeared around Qin Wentian as countless arms manifested. Punching out with a radiant divine fist, the entire space was covered in light. Everywhere he passed by, everything was reduced to ashes. The expression of the envoy from the Sanluo Immortal Empire drastically changed. How could this young man have comprehended multiple source origins? Not only that, he even had a supreme innate technique. Qin Wentian roared, unleashing his full strength as he frenziedly attacked. Rocks and stones shot through the air, but the countless arms seemed to be able to bury the heavens and earth, sealing this space. After that, they grabbed towards his body. The Buddhist arms were like vines, wrapping around his body, forcibly capturing him and binding him in the air. Qin Wentian walked over step by step, radiating resplendent Buddhic light, incomparably holy. You only have this little bit of strength and you want me to kneel and submit? Qin Wentian stared at the envoy from the Sanluo Immortal Empire. That envoy's expression changed as he spoke, I'm someone from the supreme ancient immortal realms. I won't interfere in this matter anymore. Release me. The people from the Sanluo Immortal Empire were all dumbfounded. After that, their earlier fervor transformed into deep fear. Even the Senluo Immortal Emperor started to panic. The envoy they worshipped like a god was actually defeated. What did this mean? This meant that their Senluo Immortal Empire would soon be annihilated. I told you to scram, but you mocked me for not knowing the immensity of the heavens and earth. What about now? Qin Wentian stared at the envoy from the Senluo Immortal Empire. Beams of light and sharp swords shot out frenziedly. That envoy screamed in misery as his body was destroyed bit by bit. Under the shocked gazes of everyone, his body finally dissipated, turning into dust. Silence filled the air, the hearts of countless people pounded. An ancient emperor-level character just died. This, they only felt their minds turning numb. After Qin Wentian returned, did the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms become so crazy? That was an ancient emperor that only appeared once every countless years in the Immortal Realms. Yet, he was killed just like that, in the hands of a supreme genius like Qin Wentian. How terrifying was Qin Wentian? No one dared to believe that Qin Wentian was still an immortal king 100 years ago. This was simply unimaginable. Was Qin Wentian strong? Of course he was. His astral souls made it so that he would have an absolute advantage when fighting against opponents at the same cultivation level. Although the time he spent at the Empyrean realm was short, he had comprehended the source origins of all his law attributes. Some people might not be able to do so even if they cultivated for thousands or tens of thousands of years. Back then, when he just broke through to the Empyrean realm, the Li-Fire Empyrean could only fight against him with the help of the Li-Fire Grand Formation. In fact, the Li-Fire Empyrean didn't even have the advantage. The people from the Senluo Immortal Empire, the Sacred Sun Sect, and many of their enemies from the demon race all felt fear in their hearts. Qin Wentian was so powerful. What would their fates be? Chongqing the Great, GD and the others all sighed in their hearts. How could they have imagined that Qin Wentian had already reached a level that they couldn't even look up to? From today onwards, who in the world wouldn't know of you? The Southern Phoenix matriarch Nanfeng Yaoyue stared at the white-robed figure as she sighed. Back then, Qin Wentian was merely an outstanding junior. How would she dare to imagine that Qin Wentian would have such accomplishments today? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.